He really would have.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Just like a white-winged dove sings the song, says I should sing it. Ooh, baby, ooh. Yeah. It is Free Talk Live, the live Monday night edition. Sorry, we've got spectators dancing in the background to the song that they now have stuck in their head, courtesy of the Earworm, brought to you by Captain Kickass.
Wow, I just got rid of an earworm today.
A real one, or like?
Yeah, it was a song stuck in my head.
What was it?
And I half knew it. It turned out to be the same guy who they rickroll you with, but it was called "Together Forever."
Together forever.
Yeah. I couldn't remember the words. I couldn't remember anything else about it. And it's my inability to complete the puzzle kept it stuck in my head for like 3 days. So I have been rickrolling myself. You used it on yourself.
That is awesome. Our toll-free number here, of course, is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450 free like freedom. And with me in the studio tonight, it's
Ian.
And nobody.
And I am the Reverend Captain Kickass. And we're going to talk about all sorts of fun stuff tonight. And I'll just kind of give you a rundown of what might be on the table. We're going to lead with Ronnie Long has been released from prison 44 years after being wrongly convicted of rape.
Imagine having like more than half of your life stolen from you.
44 years in prison for a crime he did not commit. So.
And what did they give him for that? Did they give him a nice parting gift?
$100,
yeah,
bus ticket.
Probably like a bus ticket and like a gift card to the grocery store or something.
That's what I would expect.
It's
because
my guess.
They always lie when they're wrong. They never admit it. They never say they were wrong.
If you want to look for a little bit of a silver lining in this particular story, it's that he was released on his wife's birthday.
Oh, God. He had a wife, and she stayed with him for 44 years.
It appears to be the case.
Two lives.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So we can talk more about that. Also on deck, I have several things to talk about. Did you know that V for Vendetta was set in 2020?
Wow.
I'd love to hear more about that.
We've got an article that talks all about that and the parallels between what the movie thought 2020 would be like and what it's actually like. We can get into that.
Yeah, well, I mean, fake pandemics, false flag attacks. We got it all, baby.
We certainly do. Media overreaction, all that
media
stuff.
Overreaction. I want them to know why they need us.
Yes, exactly. We've talked on this program previously about Sturgis and the 250,000 people who showed up there for the annual bike rally. It's a bunch of, Harley-Davidson types that go there. Well, the results are in. And what
Chicken Littles have been flipping out about Sturgis for weeks now.
What they've done is they've taken a bit of a cross sample and tested some people who either live or worked in Sturgis during the rally, and they've tested them for COVID, and the results are
no
in.
sign they were ever there. Let me guess.
You are not the father, nobody.
I'm not the father.
The results are in, right? Little Maury Povich.
That's kind of a mother.
It is. It is. So we could talk about that. I stumbled upon an article from Intellectual Takeout that talks about a massacre that happened in Japan. Somebody went on a killing spree, killing nothing but disabled people, and nobody seemed to notice. And not nobody, you, but nobody.
Well, I'm sure the people he was killing noticed.
Well, they did notice, but like it was not even reported in the media, for example. So we could talk about that if you like. Also, in Bitcoin news, in the cryptocurrency world, this from Bitcoin.com, Visa executive says, quote, opt out with Bitcoin, unquote.
Unbelievable.
It's so rare you hear one of these guys tell the truth. It's like finding a unicorn.
Exactly.
Was he saying it as he got fired from Visa? Because that seems unbelievable.
He's slamming the Fed's new policy towards inflation. If you recall, the Federal Reserve made some sort of announcement that we are now going to allow inflation to run more so than we ever have before. When really they don't have a
already
choice.
Felt it necessary to lie to us about it for decades because they know it's bad.
So the teaser here is on Thursday. 17 top Federal Reserve officials explained that the committee plans to let inflation run hotter than usual. Allow is the actual word they used, or above the benchmark 2% rate for a duration of time. Fed Chair Jerome Powell's speech was considered a major policy shift, and a number of economists commented on the central bank's move. Senior Director of Policy at Visa, Andy Yee, said Powell's inflation statements were historical and people should, quote, opt out with Bitcoin.
Absolutely.
And I completely agree with him.
Absolutely. I've been doing that for months. Thank you, whoever that guy is, for telling the truth.
Andy Yee. We could talk more about that, and there's more information there. What else do I have? We all know that if you have a smart speaker, an Alexa, an Echo, stuff like that in your house, that it can be used to spy on you. It can be recording you at times you don't want it to be. We have an article that tells us that, confirms all of that, plus more. And it specifically relates to law enforcement and their increased requests for home recordings of people to help them solve their cases.
Yeah, see, I knew that was coming before they even invented those damn things.
You won't be surprised at the data, but the data is still shocking.
Yeah.
So we could talk about that. Plus, anything else you'd like to talk about, we are here for you, the listeners, at 855-450-3733. You can also get us on our Discord over at discord.lrn.fm. And you can be a part of the program, take control of the airwaves, talk about whatever you'd like to talk about. So let's just dive right into the lead story about this guy who was released from prison after 44 years. This is out of Raleigh, North Carolina, from WTVD.
And yes,
ABC
he's
11.
black. Of course he's black.
Yes, he is. That shouldn't be relevant to anything, but it is.
It's relevant because it's a pattern, because this happens to everybody in America, but some people get it more than others.
Indeed.
Because there is a lot, I think, of infiltration of our police by, frankly, white supremacists, literal ones. Because what kind of job would you want if you were in the KKK? You know?
They started as slave catchers, didn't they? The police?
That is how the convention, what we have today as conventional police started.
Kind of here, although that's not where they got their name. They started, the very original police were the London Bobbies, and they called them police because from the Greek it means man of the city, or the city's man. So it was the same root as metropolitan.
I knew none of that. Thank you.
No problem.
That's great. So this from Raleigh WTVD, ABC11.com. Ronnie Long of Concord was convicted by an all-white jury in 1976 for the brutal rape of a 54-year-old widow. Decades later, and after many appeals, a judge finally allowed Long's attorney to review biological evidence from the scene. That evidence supported Long's profession of innocence. On Thursday, Long emerged from prison wearing a three-piece suit. His family and supporters were there to greet him. That was my inspiration, Long told ABC affiliate WSOC after his release. I got my inspiration from them and God. It felt good because I was getting feedback that I was loved and supported. Long's release came on a special day for his wife, Ashley. It was her birthday. The best birthday present in the world, she said. I think I'm still dreaming. Can you imagine that? Wow. She stayed with him for that entire duration of time.
That's unprecedented.
To
my
realize
girl couldn't make
his
it
release.
8 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty typical.
I think most people wouldn't. We could talk more about the release of this particular person as well as any of these other topics, and we've got more Free Talk Live for you coming up.
News from news.bitcoin.com. U.S. Postal Service files a patent for new blockchain voting method. Warren Buffett changes his opinion on gold. Maybe Bitcoin is next. $6 billion Acon cryptocurrency city underway. Former Prudential CEO says now's the time to buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin.com is your source for getting started with cryptocurrencies. Getting a wallet, buying Bitcoin Cash, mining, and all the latest cryptocurrency news at news.bitcoin.com. Subscribe to Bitcoin.com's YouTube channel too.
Got shaving irritation? Shave Secret shaving oil can help stop it. Shave Secret doesn't cost much and is an all-American product. My name is Chuck Howard, and I developed Shave Secret and pioneered its use starting back in 1991. Ingrown hairs drove me nuts for years. Shaving oil changed all that. Why put up with ingrown hair, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts? Shave Secret provides men and women with what we believe is the best shave ever. Our proprietary blend of 100% natural base and essential oils plus a hint of menthol was designed to help eliminate shaving irritations like ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts. We'll lose those shaving irritations. Available at Super Walmart, H-E-B, Wegmans, Giant Eagle, Discount Drug, Navy and Marine Exchanges, Amazon, and ShaveSecret.com. Use the code FTL for Free Talk Live and get a discount. Shave Secret, the best shave ever.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at anypayinc.com. anypayinc.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Welcome back, everybody, to your favorite call-in talk radio program. Yes, it is Free Talk Live. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. You can also get us over at discord.lrn.fm, where you can join in the chatting fun, which is always going on over there, or you can use one of our on-air call-in lines to connect with us here and sound almost as if you're in the studio with us. And in the studio tonight, it's
Ian.
And nobody.
And I am your host, the Reverend Captain Kickass. We've been talking about this article to kick things off today from ABC11.com in Raleigh, North Carolina. Ronnie Long was released from prison after 44 years of a wrongful rape conviction. God. I know. 44 years of a wrongful rape conviction. Released on his wife's birthday, which she says is the best birthday present in the world. She thinks she's still dreaming. Now, I can't imagine what it must be like to be the cop that put this guy away, or the jury that convicted him.
Yeah.
You know, if they have any conscience at all, they should.
Well, did the cop believe he had the right guy but had the wrong guy, or did the cop know he had the wrong guy but strung him up anyway?
Or did he just not care
know.
One way or the other?
I can't imagine, you know, and if we talk about this specific case, that's fine, but there are so many of these that happen that I can't imagine that people, like, you know, writhe in guilt over these things. They should, but I can't imagine that they do. I can't imagine that jurors do. I can't imagine that police do. I have to imagine, because it seems that society today has such a short attention span that they just forget about stuff 10 minutes later.
That would actually be a really interesting show. Track down the police who arrested and the jurors who convicted and the prosecutors who prosecuted innocent people and get them to tell you
what happened.
How
does that feel?
Right. What
bro?
do you remember about that? How does it feel now? Yeah. Well, how do you feel about it now? Yeah.
I think that would be a fascinating show.
That's not a bad idea. You should put together a pilot, send it off to Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go flying around the freaking country, but I don't leave New Hampshire. The rest of the country is way crazier than we are here from everything I've seen. So
and
I'm
it's
just
bad
like,
here.
It's bad here, but the rest of the country is pretty much a lost cause. Every place but maybe Idaho or something.
Yeah, I think I heard good things about South Dakota.
There's some good things in South Dakota.
I heard that the governor there didn't do any kind of crackdowns. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's
not
true.
much.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard that about a couple of different places, but they are few and far between.
Well, I mean, we're not taught to teach to think for ourselves. We're taught to regurgitate what we're told.
It's okay, everybody. Just do what the celebrities and the politicians tell you. There's no room for you to think right now.
Yeah, and Bill Gates is just as good as a doctor. I mean, he couldn't make his computer system work, and you know, and he was mostly, you know, a computer guy and not a medical guy.
Well, you'll only ever need $640K.
Well, never need more than that. Yeah.
So continuing on with the article, the couple met when she was a criminal justice student at the University of North Carolina. They married in 2014.
Oh,
so she stuck with him and married him while he was in prison.
Wow.
Oh, she's one of those girls.
I mean, you know, dedication is nothing to be scoffed at in my book.
So she didn't wait 40 years. She's a younger wife.
It appears to be so.
It sounds like.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if she's younger, but they haven't been married, though.
Good point, yeah.
Right. Long said the justice system failed him. Okay, thank you for stating the obvious.
Yeah. I wonder if she went into that line of business. She was a criminal justice student at the time that she met him.
Mm-hmm.
She was probably researching cases on part of, you know, whatever class assignments, local people who were wrongfully convicted or whatever, and she found him and struck up a conversation with him while he was in jail.
Wow.
That's the best kind of pen pal you can ever get in jail, is a woman who wants to meet you when you get out.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, the pen is mightier than the sword.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And pen is, if you take out the space, spells something else. So, at any rate, Long said
the
justice...
pen is mightier than the sword in that it can summon 1,000 swords or 10,000 swords. But the thing is, you don't want to be stuck with a pen when you really need to have a sword, because it's not a good substitute in the heat of the moment.
Sword fighting, not like you think, tonight on Free Talk Live.
That's the after show.
That's the after show, right? Yeah, the uncensored after show.
Oh, good Lord.
Long said he never gave up hope that the truth would win out while spending his 44 years in prison. I'm disappointed, really, in a system that is supposed to be about right and wrong, Long said. He should probably take some notes from his criminal justice wife about how it's not about right and wrong.
The system's about them and the rest of us.
Yeah, the system's about keeping us afraid, about keeping us under control.
There's one set of rules for them and a whole separate set of rules for us.
I'm not even sure there's a set of rules for them.
Well,
but they'd like you to.
The set of rules for them are to just mess with us as much as possible, and
there is a set of rules for them, and what it's called, 2 words, Latin, privis legis, and that means private law. Okay, but not private law like privatized. It's talking about when the law treats one person different from another, and that's what got shortened to privilege.
Oh, privis law, right? I got you.
Privis legis.
I got you. Okay, interesting. Long continued. One day, I believed I would be standing where I'm standing right now, and I ain't never gave up that hope. His message to others was simply "never give up," quote unquote. Never give up, he says. After spending 44 years in prison for wrongly convicted.
That's a strong man, because I'll tell you what, I was arrested on a 7-year charge, and at 50 was ready to say, if I do end up getting 7 years in prison, I have no intention of surviving that.
Right.
Wow, I'm glad that he didn't survive that for nothing, that he's actually getting out.
Yeah, me too. There was one person notably absent from the family reunion, Long's mother, who passed away just a month prior. I wanted her to be part of this, Long said. I hated that she's not here. Hopefully she's watching down on me. She could tell my dad and my sisters that I made it out.
Welcome to the mask world.
Right? Yeah.
Wow.
I used to hear stories about people getting convicted and getting out of jail, and like the price of a phone call went from a dime to a quarter or whatever.
I can't even find a payphone.
Right. I can't imagine somebody getting out of jail and now you have to wear a mask everywhere. They're like, when the hell did this start?
Yeah.
Yeah. When the rest of us went to jail.
855-450-FREE, 855-450-373. If you want to join in and give us your calls and your thoughts. This is Free Talk Live. More coming up.
Divvy's been a pretty good investment for Free Talk Live. Their ad campaign started in September 2019, and from mid-March to mid-July, the values soared by 10 times. It's not too late. Divvy's new wallet hasn't even released yet, and other things are happening that I can't even say on the radio. If you want to invest and potentially do well, go to divvyproject.org. I can tell you that FTL is deepening its partnership with the guys from divvyproject.org. Past performance is not an indication of future profit. divvyproject.org. DIVI project.org. Free Talk Live is aired on nearly 200 radio stations throughout the week, and we've been doing this for almost 18 years. You can call in any evening from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern to talk about whatever's on your mind. Sure, you can waste your time on Facebook and reach dozens of surly posters, or you can call in with your issue and reach 3 surly hosts. Oh, and nearly 500,000 weekly listeners. The number is 1-855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom.
Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians from June 28th through July 4th for ForkFest 2021 at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. ForkFest happens the week after the Porcupine Freedom Festival, and ForkFest is decentralized, which means no one is in charge. That also means there's no ticket cost. Just reserve your camping, RV site, or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 28th through July 4th. Where better to celebrate Independence Day than around other freedom-loving activists in the Shire? You can relax and enjoy the camaraderie of like-minded people, or you can create whatever experience or event you'd like others to have. If you're planning an event for ForkFest, be sure to let others know in advance. You can connect with fellow ForkFesters via the unofficial Telegram chat or the ForkFest forum. Links to those are on the unofficial website, forkfest.party. Mark your calendar for June 28th through July 4th, 2021. We'll see you at forkfest.party. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's the Onion Radio News. A man on TV urges the mass purchase of Listerine. This is Doyle Redland reporting. In what is believed to be the widest-reaching appeal ever made by an individual on behalf of an oral hygiene aid, an unidentified man urged millions of people across the U.S. to purchase Listerine brand antiseptic mouthwash today. Experts are baffled as to why a person with the power to reach millions would choose to present an oral hygiene-related message. FCC spokesperson Grant Yarborough.
Well, this individual should be so obsessed with oral hygiene as to demand that several million bottles of Listerine be simultaneously purchased is baffling.
The man, described as a handsome, trustworthy-looking individual in his early 30s, emphatically stressed that Listerine should be purchased over other, inferior mouthwash brands. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
Mama say, mama sama makusa. Mama say, mama sama makusa. Yes, this is Free Talk Live. Our toll-free number is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom.
Michael Jackson tonight?
Mama say, mama sama makusa. Mama say, mama sama makusa. Yes. No, I'm not Michael Jackson. Okay. I am the Reverend Captain Kickass, and joining me in the studio tonight,
I'm Ian.
And I'm nobody.
And we are here to do whatever it is that we do. We're going to talk into some microphones. We're probably going to talk to some people. We're going to look at some things going on in the news and tell you about things from the perspective of freedom, as we like to do here. Mm-hmm. We were talking about this gentleman who has been released from prison after 44 years. For being
cringe every time you say that.
For being wrongly convicted of rape. His name is Ronnie Long. This is out of Raleigh, North Carolina, from WTVD. This article goes in and talks about all of the background of, what happened with the original trial, what happened with the appeals and that kind of stuff. I'm just going to move past most of that. And the important part is the new hearing. The same judge who wrote the opinion for the federal Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals on Monday ordered a new hearing in the case. That could have led to an acquittal or a new trial. That evidence has now trickled out, revealing the truth that Mr. Long has declared for decades he should have not been found guilty, Thacker wrote. Today, the court remands to give the state yet another opportunity to disclose the evidence it should have disclosed nearly half a century ago.
So this is prosecutorial misconduct. They withheld exculpatory evidence, it sounds like.
Indeed, they did.
Oh, my God. String that prosecutor up. Just string him up.
It'll never happen.
No, it won't. Well, maybe somebody will catch up with one and string him up someday, but government won't do it.
Based on the record in this case over the last 15 years, I would not be surprised if more evidence does turn up. But since the evidence is sufficient today to grant Mr. Long the relief he has so long pursued, I would not wait for further proceedings on remand. 44 years is an unconscionably long period to wait for justice. It is time. I say it's past time myself.
44 years past time.
The state of North Carolina will also be asking the court to vacate Long's conviction. Huh, how nice of them.
Isn't that nice?
Wow, what a bunch of good guys. Not. Anyway, you could tell that...
But it's vital that we have one organization that's answerable only to itself, right? A society would fall apart without that.
Well, never mind the conflict of interest that I continue to point out to everybody who will listen about the police, the judge, and the prosecutor all collecting their paycheck from the same frickin' bank.
Yeah.
That would be a conflict of interest.
The same employer.
That would be a conflict of interest in any other realm, in any other portion of a trial. If there was if your attorney and yourself, you know what I mean, if you both collected money from that would be, you get my point.
Yeah. I mean, I had a judge recuse himself in a case because he had once written up a will for a secretary who was testifying against me for about 5 minutes. So he was like, yeah, I can't try this case. Well, of course, it was there were other reasons he did that, but that's crazy.
I did notice that they did not mention what, if anything, they gave this guy on his release.
They probably didn't give him anything. He will probably have to sue them in order to get anything.
Right. I mean, usually when they release a guy from prison, they give him a bus ticket or $20 for a meal or something, right?
$20 and a rope to hang himself with or something.
Yeah, some meaningless gesture.
Welcome back to society. You've missed the last 40 years. Good luck getting caught up.
Yeah.
Right. Good luck getting a job. I mean, how old does this guy have to be if he's 44? I mean, if he spent 44 years in prison.
Given that he was likely around 20 if he was a young man, then he's probably
near retirement age.
Close to 70.
Yeah. Wow. I can't imagine. I just, I read these things sometimes and it just upsets me.
Yeah.
So with that being said, let's go to some of your calls and thoughts. Let's go to Larry calling from Indianapolis. Larry, you're on Free Talk Live.
You know, when they get a felony conviction against somebody, that's just like having a life sentence, too. So that's nothing new. And I think that the prosecutor misconduct, that's the problem with our whole system.
I don't know what just happened to your phone there, but you went from understandable to completely unintelligible.
Yeah.
That's a little better. Go ahead, talk.
Put him back on hold. Yeah, put him back on hold.
We're going to put you back on hold for a minute.
Yeah, I might need to get him on a different line. We need to get Larry to get on Discord so he can sound way better.
Yeah.
Get on Discord.
Yeah, tech support. Give Larry a hand.
Yeah, discord.lrn.fm. You just join there, and you can download the Discord app for just about any computer platform. There's, Windows, Linux, Mac, and then, of course, the smartphones. So
the iPhone, the Android.
Yeah, install it, get your user account created, and then go type into your browser discord.lrn.fm, and it'll pop you right into our server.
Tech support here on Free Talk Live tonight.
No, please, don't call about tech support.
No, don't. Don't call about it. I'm just saying we've provided some just now. Let's just go ahead and switch gears because I can't say enough about how awful this guy being in jail for 44 years, wrongly convicted of rape, is.
Yeah. That's...
Well, I've got a rape-related headline for you here. Ex-Boston Police Union president charged with raping 4 more children.
Wait, say that again?
Isn't that special?
I'm sorry. I want to catch...
The president of the Boston Police Union, so the union for cops, one of the most influential public sector unions out there, charged with raping 4 more children.
More?
He'd already been
He'd already had some charges, arrested earlier this month on child sex charges stemming from allegations he sexually assaulted a young relative starting when she was 7.
I mean, Whiskey Tango
7.
Foxtrot. Really, how much more evidence does society need that having these positions of authority in an organization based on violence is a bad thing? It's never going to attract noble people with noble causes. It's never going to attract good men, good women, good citizens, good people to these jobs, because it only attracts those who seek power and want to abuse it.
I mean, how much would you charge if your job was hurting people every day?
And remember, the head of a police union is always who they talk to whenever there's another cop that's accused of doing a thing, right? So they'll accuse some cop, rarely, some cop will get accused of doing something, and then they always go to the police union head because you can't get the cop to talk. He's already been told by his attorney, look, don't talk to anybody, right? So you can't speak to the actual accused cop. So they always go to the police union, and it's usually the president who's speaking in favor of his officers, no matter what. They're always cooking up excuses, making excuses for these cops that are under
trying
fire.
to defend them.
And
well, it probably makes it easier for him to do his job, having no conscience.
That's what I'm saying. This is the guy. This is the guy who, any Boston area cops accused of wrongdoing, you could probably find news articles of this guy, taking their side. And he's a child rapist.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Well, allegedly 4 more times.
According to the story, he's now facing 16 new charges, including 11 counts of child rape and 5 counts of indecent assault and battery on a child under 14.
Wood chipper go brrrr.
5 alleged victims. 1 in the last 2 years, others in the 1990s. So he made a career out of this.
The captain's speechless. I don't think I've ever seen you so gabberflasted.
Flabbergasting tonight on Free Talk Live. 855 450 free. We've got more coming up.
Have you ever thought about turning your Glock, XD Family, or 1911 handgun into a semi-automatic carbine? It only takes about 30 seconds. The MacTech Carbine Upper is classified as an accessory and can be delivered right to your doorstep with no FFL or background check required. It's the world's most versatile pistol accessory. Build your custom upper today. Simply go to handgunconversion.com. That's handgunconversion.com.
Are you ready for what's next? It's likely coming. More food shortages, power outages, grocery stores closed, social unrest. Ask yourself, do you have enough food and supplies on hand to last at least 30 days? Most Americans do not, but you can. Avoid the panic of the last-minute rush. Order your 4-week supply of emergency food today from mypatriotsupply.com. Starvation or dependency on the government are your only alternatives. Avoid those and the pain of being unprepared. Go to mypatriotsupply.com right now. Build your emergency food supply with meals that last up to 25 years in storage, shipped discreetly to your door. Folks that know what's coming are using today to prepare. There's time for you to do the same. That's mypatriotsupply.com, the original Patriot Preparedness Company. mypatriotsupply.com.
Hi, I'm Dan Pilla. I started fighting the IRS over 40 years ago when they tried to seize my mother's house. I sued the IRS and won. I beat the IRS then, and I've been beating them ever since. I wrote the book on tax debt settlement, and I've helped thousands of people deal with tax problems they thought might never be solved. I can help you too. If you owe taxes you can't pay, don't wait another day. There's no such thing as a hopeless tax case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX or go to my website, danpilla.com. That's danpilla.com, danpilla.com.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do You think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. Welcome back, everybody. Yes, this is Free Talk Live. Our website is freetalklive.com. In the studio tonight, it's myself, the captain.
And it's Ian.
And nobody.
And Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or even meeting in person with cash. That's my favorite way. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. That's local.bitcoin.com. Let's go ahead and just give Larry another try here and see if his connection has improved. Larry, you're on Free Talk Live.
Am I doing any better now?
I
can just call back tomorrow.
Much better, Larry. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
Okay, well, here's what it is. I'll get down to business. I was caught our public health officer here in Marion County on a call-in radio show. Now, I call in, and I told her, I said, look, everybody knows that 89% of the people who have died here in the state of Indiana, and there's 3,000 who have died, right, have been in a nursing home and had comorbidities. And I told her, why don't you stop lying and stop punishing the school kids and punishing people and making them wear masks and stuff. And she got really hot, you know. And then you know what she said? No. She said, well, I've been hearing that people are going into the businesses, and then when they get in there, they pull their mask down below their nose. You know how you do that so you can breathe? And you're 6 foot distance anyway. And she said, what we have now is 100 people out in the neighborhood, and if they see you doing that, they're going to give you a $1,000 fine. So this is nothing but I call her a roguish thief, because all you know what they do? They take that and put it on your property tax bill. So like if you got a $2,000 a year property tax bill, then it comes up to $3,000 or $4,000 for those violations. And,
I had no idea.
See, here in New Hampshire, you can just go sit it off in jail at $150 a day.
No jail, because they have a different system. What they have in common law don't apply. When they give you a ticket or give you a fine, you have to pay it or they'll take your property. So I told her, I said, you are destroying our whole economy here in the city of Indianapolis. Why don't you go downtown and to give some of these businesses fines where people are dumping on their sidewalks every night and peeing all around everything. You don't want to do that, but she's willing to close our city down, and the other cities around us, like Carmel and other places, are open. Their bars and everything is open.
Really?
So they're punishing people with this now.
I wonder, Larry,
it would come to this.
Do you know what happens if you get one of these and you don't pay it, but you don't own property?
They don't. You know what they do? It's so arbitrary that they focus on the people that do own property.
Yeah, they want to get the money.
Own property, yeah, they want to get the money. You're going to have a more in the spirit experience to get money. But how I know this happened is because I did get a fine for some stuff I set out for heavy trash.
Uh-huh.
And then when I went to the whole limit with the thing, you can have a hearing, but once they get the fine on you, it's over for you. So because they don't abide by any common law. But what it is they're going farther and farther and pushing people when they already said that 89% of the people that died had comorbidities and were in nursing homes. So you know what that made me do?
What did it make
my
you do?
grandson operates my Facebook page, so I put a link to my YouTube that I'm going to start, and I'm just going to start raking them over the coals on YouTube.
Nice. What's your YouTube channel?
It'll be up next week when Pete comes over.
All right, call in and give us a plug. Give us the name of it when you have it, okay?
Hey, thank you, boys.
Thanks,
You
Larry.
have a great night, Larry.
I would watch.
What a ridiculous method and also illustration that you don't ever own property.
Mm-hmm.
If the state can just arbitrarily make up something that goes, well, you know, we're going to fine you for this thing, and if you don't pay,
we'll just put a lien on
your
property.
put a lien on your property. We'll take your frickin' property.
Lean on me.
So the translation for those who can't follow what Larry was saying was that in his area, if you get a ticket for not being masked properly and you don't pay,
which you shouldn't do.
Which you shouldn't do. They can and will take your property, your house, from you.
So you need to make sure you've got a lot of kindling and some gasoline, because, you know, if they're going to take a building from you, you really ought to take a building from them.
Seems fair.
That does seem fair.
You know.
It's unbelievable, man, that they take your property for not masking.
Huh?
No, I mean, it's upsetting. It's not, I mean, I believe it, of course.
Well, the thing that's infuriating about it, and I realized what it was, why it's so annoying, is that it's because they had a scene in Star Trek, okay, where Picard's been captured, he's being tortured, and the guy's just trying to make him say that there's 5 lights in the room, but there's 4.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just an arbitrary thing, but he's trying to make him lie. And that's the thing. They want us to give lip service to this epidemic, and it's a nothing burger. You know, I've got a whiteboard on the wall outside my house. Right now it says nobody is sick. You know?
I thought it meant that he was sick.
Yeah,
okay.
2 people thought I was sick because of it. But
are you okay, nobody?
I'll be okay.
Okay.
I got over it.
What's infuriating to me is not that the law passes these things and makes these things a reality. What's infuriating to me is that everybody just sits back and takes it.
Yeah, that is infuriating.
That's what's infuriating to me. We give example after example on this show in particular of all of these things that happen and go on. And I know we have regular listeners that listen night after night after night, and they all say the same thing. Yeah, that's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody just sits back and takes it.
Well, what are they supposed to do,
We're just gonna take it.
What are they supposed to do?
Show up at your excellency's door with a mock guillotine, for example.
How come you haven't done that?
I haven't.
That's a good question.
I would be delighted to do that.
I haven't built the mock guillotine
could not bring
yet.
the guillotine myself because I could be arrested as a felon in possession of a deadly weapon.
A mock guillotine.
Well, I'll just let somebody else push it. I can be next to a guy with a guillotine. I can be shoulder to shoulder with a guy with a guillotine.
I can sketch one up. I wonder if I can get somebody to make a CAD drawing out of it so we could do like a 3D printable, collapsible mock guillotine for people to bring to their governors' houses.
I'm pretty sure that if you look online, you'll find blueprints, if not kits.
Yeah, because these protests that happen in public squares or even in front of the White House and that kind of a thing, they don't do anything. I think you need to start showing up at these people's houses. Everybody sleeps somewhere. Show up at their freaking house.
We've done it. We've done it here in Keene. Years ago, we did it out in front of Judge Burke's house multiple times.
What was the effect?
Well, nothing, of course, but it was fun to do. I mean, in the moment, it was something for the activists to get out and express themselves with, and there was some interesting encounters, but ultimately, the judge stayed in his place. It's not like the judge is going to walk off the job because you're protesting out in front of his house.
I think that right now, what with masks being all in vogue, right? Mm-hmm. The thing du jour that's currently going on that your masters are forcing upon you, that perhaps we talk about a film wherein a mask is central to the story.
Let's talk about that, but I do want to suggest that people that care about freedom just go ahead and pick up their lives and move to New Hampshire, because getting together with other like-minded people, I think, is step one towards figuring out what to do about this. Because more things become possible when you have more people. You can be more choosy about who you work with. You don't have to. You're not just stuck with the same 5 libertarians that live in Tampa or wherever it is that
Seattle.
you live. You're not stuck with those people. Libertarians elsewhere, it's like, okay, you've got all these other libertarians in the area. There's maybe 10 of them, and 9 out of 10 of them you don't get along with, or whatever. Here in New Hampshire, we've got thousands who've moved up here. And so if there's some you don't get along with, okay, don't talk to those people. There's others who you will get along with here. You can actually be selective about the libertarians you work with, the issues that you work on. And so if we could have another 10, 20,000 people move here, it'd make a huge difference.
That'd be great.
You could make a difference instead of just complaining and looking around and wondering what you can do. Here you can actually do things.
If you're listening,
change the world.
If you're listening, this is your call to move. Get your stuff. If you're tired of the system treating people like they are less than human, get your stuff and join us here in New Hampshire. 855-450 free is our toll-free number if you want to join in. This is Free Talk Live. More coming up.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Arrest arrests have been made. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump says more than 200 people have been taken into custody where there have been violent protests.
They've been arrested in various cities throughout the United States. We're doing it very low-key, but we're trying to help cities. They are, in all cases, Democrat-run, but we're doing the best we can to help them without really much of a consent.
The president heads to Kenosha, Wisconsin tomorrow, despite the objection of Governor Tony Evers. He says he spoke with the pastor of the family of Jacob Blake, adding the family wanted a lawyer present if he were to meet with them. He says he felt that was inappropriate, but gave his regards to the family. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden in an address in Pittsburgh denouncing the violence.
You know me. You know my heart. You know my story, my family story. Ask yourself, do I look like a radical socialist with a soft spot for rioters? Really?
Biden also blamed the Trump administration for the violence, saying the president said it would continue under a Biden administration, but Biden countered that this is happening, as he put it, Donald Trump's America. The case against President Trump's former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, is kept alive by a federal appeals court.
A panel of judges will allow another judge to assess the Justice Department's request to dismiss the case. Flynn admitted guilt in Robert Mueller's Russia investigation and was waiting for his sentence when the Justice Department asked for the case to be thrown out. When U.S. District Judge Emmett Sullivan did not order an immediate dismissal, DOJ lawyers sought to circumvent him in the belief that Flynn's Russian contacts were appropriate for a national security advisor to have. Flynn was the only administration official at the time charged in the Mueller probe. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
America is listening to Fox News.
Who knew that the same company that made the twist ties around your loaf of bread also made the face shield delivered to your front door? Packaging solutions provider Bedford Industries stepped up in a big way during the pandemic with help from NetSuite, the world's #1 cloud business system. Here's Bedford's president, Jay Milbrandt.
At Bedford, we saw an opportunity to retool our products to create face shields. Thanks to the visibility and control NetSuite provides, we had the agility to change our business overnight. In no time, NetSuite helped us launch our first e-commerce site and handled crucial details from licensing to order tracking. Now we're taking orders from around the world 24/7. We couldn't have done it without NetSuite.
NetSuite by Oracle gives you visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything you need all in one place. They surveyed hundreds of business leaders and assembled a playbook of top strategies they're using as America reopens for business. Receive your free guide, 7 actions businesses need to take now, and schedule your free product tour at netsuite.com/Fox. netsuite.com/Fox.
The first court appearance this afternoon for a St. Louis couple who were seen on video pointing guns at protesters outside their home.
1 week after Mark and Patricia McCloskey endorsed President Trump during the RNC, the couple making a brief appearance in court in St. Louis on felony charges for pointing their guns in June. They say out of fear at protesters inside their gated community.
We are simply anxious to remove all the noise from this case, move the case forward, and have the facts heard by a jury.
McCloskey attorney Joel Schwartz, no plea yet. Missouri's governor and other Republicans have also criticized St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner for charging the couple, whose supporters say are backed by the Second Amendment. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
10 years in prison for a Kansas man in connection with the deaths of 2 teenage girls from Oklahoma more than 20 years ago. 69-year-old Ronnie Busick sentenced to 1 count of accessory to murder in the deaths of Laura Bible and Ashley Freeman. They haven't been seen since December 1999 after Freeman's parents were found dead in their burned-out mobile home in Welch, Oklahoma, about 70 miles northeast of Tulsa. Busick was arrested and charged in 2018. Less than a week in, a government-funded coronavirus testing program hits a snag.
About 1,000 people in Hawaii are getting the news they need to retake a COVID test because of a mislabeling error at a testing site on the island of Oahu, part of the federally funded surge testing program there, which kicked off Wednesday. The problem, test tubes without labels attached. The Honolulu Star-Advertiser reporting a city spokesperson claims the company running the testing didn't provide proper guidance. Some 60,000 Oahu residents are being offered free tests in order to help pinpoint the virus amid an uptick in cases. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
Wall Street, the Dow lost 223 points, the Nasdaq gained 79. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
His name is
is Osimo. Honda has unveiled its new human-like robot that the team says is designed to run a non-competitive half marathon and then smugly brag about it afterwards. Project leader Kenji Saito calls the robot very aggravating, adding, quote, "We knew how to create a robot that could run great distances at high speeds. The challenge was to build a bot that would be impressed with its own minor achievement. The robot even believes it could run a full marathon if it wanted to, but it's just doing this to stay in shape and have some fun.
If I wanted to, I probably could have played college football."
Aiming to make the android as realistically human as possible, scientists installed sensors to register derisive comments and eye rolls from annoyed coworkers as genuine interest in its self-centered blathering. The team noted that the irritating robot could be useful in medical fields as well. Already, Osimo has pestered scientists into sponsoring it to run a 5K in Cape Cod this summer. To date, it's raised over $700 for leukemia research.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. That's where you are. That's where we are. If you're listening to us and you can hear me now, you are listening to Free Talk Live, the live call-in radio talk show where you can take control of the airwaves and talk about, well, anything you want. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. You can also get us on our Discord over at discord.lrn.fm, where you can sound almost as if you are sitting here in the studio with us. And with you tonight, it's myself, the captain.
You've got Ian.
Is anybody else here besides the captain and Ian? Would there be a third person in the studio tonight?
And he does claim that he listens too when he does this, but
I wonder. I think we have to invoke his moniker, don't we?
That might work.
Nobody.
He's out.
Oh wow.
He's out.
Okay, well, nobody is not here. So since he's not here, we're going to go ahead and go to your calls and your thoughts.
Oh, man.
We have Dave41 on our Discord line of all places. Dave, you're on Free Talk Live.
Also known as Ridley.
Dave Ridley, the Ridley Report. What do you have to report?
Well, apparently one of your advertisers, Mark Warden, also known as the Porcupine Realtor, is reporting that a record number of Free Staters are running for legislature this year in New Hampshire.
Oh, wonderful.
I have this growing list of potential band names that end in Ator, but legislator has not made it to the list. I will put that on the list as of today.
Yeah, I wouldn't call myself a legislator either if I had the choice.
So are these, just to be clear, it's a record number of Free Staters, the definition of which is people who've migrated here as part of the New Hampshire Freedom Migration?
Yeah, the actual quote was porks.
Porks.
Now, it's possible
that probably includes New Hampshire natives who are liberty friendly, would be my guess.
Yeah, one thing that happened around 2015 is that the Free State Project started they diluted the definition of what a Free Stater was. Supposedly a Free Stater is a person who moves to New Hampshire for more freedom,
right, and
signs this letter of intent that they'll do it and that they'll, do pro-freedom stuff. More recently, it seems like they're counting people who just, happened to be here and said, oh, well, they raised their hand. We want to be Free Staters too, so they just kind of threw them into the mix. And of course, they do count just as much as those of us who moved here.
Yeah,
in most respects.
It's interesting, Dave. But
it's easier to. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's interesting because I did move here. And I came here for all of the, the freedom stuff, right? All of the things that you would think, brought me here. This show, all the things going on here regarding freedom. But I did not sign, so technically I am not a Free Stater, but yet right. I am here for all of the same reasons that a legitimate, if you will, a person who signed Free Stater is. So, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's different, and it's a problem in terms of counting consistency. Those of us who are kind of amateur futurists like to be consistent in how we count things up and how we measure things so that we know whether something's increasing or decreasing or the rate that it's increasing. So when they just sort of changed the way they counted, then it sort of threw off my ability to check and see how great our progress is. And so,
Right.
yeah, that it's contaminated our ability to track progress.
It skews
And
the
then
stats.
yeah, so when someone uses the word porks, now you don't know what it means. It's kind of like the old Flying Tigers, right? You know, it was supposed to be this squadron of 30 guys or so who shot down a lot of Japanese planes for 2 dead or something like that. And then all of a sudden the Army said, well, everybody's a Flying Tiger. So all these people come wandering in there after Pearl Harbor and, oh, we're Flying Tigers too. Let's paint a mouth on your plane. And why not? Everybody had a plane, and they didn't mean anything anymore. Right. So I mean, in a sense, the people who are here, who are already here, you know, they're kind of superior to us. But it would be nice to count those of us. It would be nice to have consistent counting capability, I guess.
Yeah, you would have to have tightly defined criteria, but
yeah,
I don't think you can look at the Free State Project to do that sort of work these days. They haven't really been, I don't think, keeping up on those numbers real well. At least that's the impression that I've gotten. The numbers seem to have been sort of buried. Like, it used to be that you could go to the Free State Project's website, and like one of the first things you would see there was the current count. And now I don't think it's that easy to find.
Yeah, last time I looked, it was there, but it was inflated again because they were counting people using new criteria.
Okay, so let's just say that anybody who's considered a pork, P-O-R-C, for our listeners who aren't familiar, that's short for porcupine. Let's just say they're just counting everybody who's a pork, and so there's a record number of porks running for, what is it?
I guess just legislature in general, or maybe just state rep. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So we got 2 of them in the governor's race. One of them is nobody, and the other is Darryl Perry, who's Darryl's running as the Libertarian, and nobody is running as a Republican in the primary, which that vote happens in 1 week from now. But at the moment, there are 2 freedom-loving candidates in the race.
You know, what I noticed was all of a sudden, you know, the radio station in Keene started taking Rich Paul seriously, right? Once he was running for governor.
When did they start doing that?
They interviewed him. They, you know,
Not
treating him just like any other candidate.
They have not interviewed him.
Yeah, I think they did, but it was a long time ago. I think it was like 9 months ago.
You're thinking of his mayoral campaign, which would have been a year ago.
Yeah, I got a lot of attention when I was running for mayor, and then when I ran for governor, though, I got pretty well shut out. I've had 1 interview.
Yeah, the only discussion going on about him on the radio station are local advertisements that we are running on WKBK, the local talk station. But that I don't think that has led to an actual interview. I think nobody's only been interviewed so far in this campaign, only 1 time, sadly, which is a real surprise. I mean, I figured that the whole nobody thing would get some more attention, and they are. I think they're purposefully excluding him at this point.
Well, the trick would be to probably be doing something visual with a good costume, like your friar's robe at an event where the media is already present.
Yeah, it'd be great if there were events.
See, I don't know where the media is.
You did go to the
present anymore.
You did go to the event, nobody at the Keene Central Square, which was a Mask Freedom event, and you spoke at that event. And there was a reporter there from the local newspaper, but I don't think you got interviewed by in that particular case.
Yeah, and I'm going to be at some protests tomorrow. Maybe I'll get an interview out. That Carla.
Right, cool.
Is from the Free State Project is doing a anti-mask thing at City Hall
in Manchester.
In Manchester.
I just want to say though, Dave, since you called in about it, I am for anybody who's freedom-minded, to be doing these things. Now, I do repeatedly say things about not voting and that kind of a thing from my personal perspective, but I think as a form of activism, there is no better way to get the message of freedom out to people than to get in front of people who are about to cast their vote for something that will affect your freedom.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
With regard to getting publicity, Rich, and this is going to be of interest to anyone in the New Hampshire area, but Rich, do you have a list of all the? I have a list of all the times when talk radio shows are running and they take calls about anything. You guys actually aren't the only show that does it. There's 3 or 4 shows in New Hampshire that will take calls about almost anything at certain times of day. And so, Rich, I can send you that list if you want. Just send me a message.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, and anyone else can send me that same message asking for the list. It's just Dave Ridley on Facebook. But it's hard for me to create a link for it. It's more of an RTF file that lists the times when you can call in and talk radio.
Very handy. And I know that's some of the activism that you do, Dave Ridley, is you call the local talk stations and bring up some issue or another that you think needs to be discussed more. So good on you.
Yeah, 3,000 calls so far.
Wow.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks for the call tonight, and good luck with your projects. Free Talk Live, 855 450 free. We've got more coming up for you very quickly.
Divvy's been a pretty good investment for Free Talk Live. Their ad campaign started in September 2019, and from mid-March to mid-July, the values soared by 10 times. It's not too late. Divvy's new wallet hasn't even released yet, and other things are happening that I can't even say on the radio. If you want to invest and potentially do well, go to divvyproject.org. I can tell you that FTL is deepening its partnership with the guys from divvyproject.org. Past performance is not an indication of future profit. divvyproject.org. D-I-V-I project.org. News from news.bitcoin.com. U.S. Postal Service files a patent for new blockchain voting method. Warren Buffett changes his opinion on gold. Maybe Bitcoin is next. $6 billion Akon cryptocurrency city underway. Former Prudential CEO says now's the time to buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin.com is your source for getting started with cryptocurrencies. Getting a wallet, buying Bitcoin Cash, mining, and all the latest cryptocurrency news at news.bitcoin.com. Subscribe to Bitcoin.com's YouTube channel, too.
Got shaving irritation? Shave Secret shaving oil can help stop it. Shave Secret doesn't cost much and is an all-American product. My name is Chuck Howard, and I developed Shave Secret and pioneered its use starting back in 1991. Ingrown hairs drove me nuts for years. Shaving oil changed all that. Why put up with ingrown hair, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts? Shave Secret provides men and women with what we believe is the best shave ever. Our proprietary blend of 100% natural base and essential oils, plus a hint of menthol, was designed to help eliminate shaving irritations like ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts. We'll lose those shaving irritations. Available at Super Walmart, H-E-B, Wegmans, Giant Eagle, Discount Drug, Navy and Marine Exchanges, Amazon, and ShaveSecret.com. Use the code FTL for Free Talk Live and get a discount. Shave Secret, the best shave ever.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191. Do you have a WordPress website running WooCommerce and want to accept cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin SV? Now you can easily enable crypto payments from your customers by adding the AnyPay plugin to your WordPress site. Just visit AnyPayInc.com and set up your account by entering your cryptocurrency wallet addresses in the admin. Then enable the AnyPay plugin in your WooCommerce. That's it. Now your website takes crypto like Bitcoin, thanks to AnyPayInc.com. AnyPayInc.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
855 453 855 453 855 450 3733. They say in advertising.
Jenny, I got your number.
Yeah, they say in advertising if you want people to remember the phone number, you should make a song out of it. Right? I remember a telethon.
8675309.
Let's see. 855 450. No, that doesn't work out. Yeah. 455. Yeah, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to write the song live. That's not going to work.
Yeah, no. Yes. Our toll-free number, in case you didn't know what it was after all of this clever banter, or less than clever banter, is 855-450-3733. If you would like to call and talk about anything, really, or stuff that we've been talking about, or stuff that we haven't talked about, whatever's on your mind, you have the ability to do so. This is Free Talk Live. And in the studio tonight, it's myself, the captain.
It's Ian.
And nobody.
And from mid-March until mid-July, Divvy, the new easy-to-use cryptocurrency that we have been promoting here on Free Talk Live, increased in value by over 10 times. Nothing is stopping Divvy from increasing exponentially again, and, in fact, that is their goal. Divvy's price jumped 10 times in correlation with the release of their beta wallet. Will Divvy go up further when their wallet is fully released? I don't know. But at Free Talk Live, we're happy with our decision to hook up with Divvy a year ago. You can go to divvyproject.org and begin earning Divvy by starting a masternode or staking Divvy. They have a lottery for people who stake the coin too. Opportunity has knocked every day here on Free Talk Live since last September. Will you answer? divvyproject.org. That's DIVI project.org. Shifting gears from what we have been talking about, I wanted to talk about a movie. One of my favorite movies, actually. Probably in, I would say this is probably in my top 10.
It's a good one, for sure.
It's really good. If you've not heard of it, it's V for Vendetta.
Oh, yeah.
And
based on a comic book.
It is.
Right?
Yeah, and in fact, it's a toned down, the movie is a toned down version of the comic book, as this article will point out. But what I didn't know, and the reason I'm drawn to this particular article today and bringing up this movie, which was done in, I think, 2005, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 05, 04, something like that.
Is because it was set in the year 2020.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I
and
knew that.
It was about a fake pandemic.
I knew that. And so this particular article, as you have pointed out, nobody, draws on some eerie parallels. Now streaming on Netflix, of course, the big screen adaptation of V for Vendetta has proven to be oddly prescient for what's happening in 2020. 2005's V for Vendetta has proven to be a movie for the year 2020. At its most powerful, cinema can be the perfect tool that allows audiences to understand their lives, ongoing concerns, and place in history. Such stories can provide comfort or motivation, or something much more potent given the right circumstances. At the current moment in time, an era of unprecedented political precarity and societal unease, pop culture can seem somewhat frivolous, but it remains a key part of people's lives. When the coronavirus pandemic became a worldwide panic, audiences turned to movies like Contagion. During the most recent Black Lives Matter protest, bookshops reported record sales of works by black authors. While unfortunately Netflix noted a sudden uptick in viewer numbers for The Help. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that movie.
For what?
Never heard of it.
The Help. Yeah, I don't know. Now, as protests continue across America and worldwide in opposition to police brutality against black citizens and the scourge of systemic racism, it shouldn't be a surprise that Netflix has been hyping V for Vendetta.
They're hyping it?
Yeah. Seems like this article's hyping it. Maybe Netflix gave this guy a kickdown for writing an article or something, you know? This is by Kaylee Donaldson.
Okay.
So, released in 2005, directed by James McTeague and produced by the Wachowskis, V for Vendetta was a major hit worldwide that became a symbol for real-world political resistance. Based on the graphic novel by Alan Moore and David Lloyd, the film tells the story of a masked vigilante known as V, who becomes the leader of sorts to an uprising against the fascistic government of an alternate 1980s Britain. It's not unusual for...
It's not that alternate.
Well,
yeah,
not anymore, it isn't, I guess. Perhaps it was a bit more alternate at the time they made it.
Yeah, well, they didn't know about Jimmy Savile being a child molester when they were talking about child molesters in high places, but he was.
Fact. It's not unusual for older stories to find modern relevance with audiences. Great stories should pass the test of time in such a manner, even if they're highly specific in their depiction of a time or context. But it still feels fitting that all of a sudden V for Vendetta is back in the headlines and grabbing audiences' attention. However, it is less the film itself that feels of this strange moment in time than our own preconceptions and appropriation of V for Vendetta. Part of what keeps the fascistic government of V for Vendetta's Britain in power is a pandemic. A disease known as St. Mary's virus has ravaged Europe and killed over 100,000 people by the time the film starts. Sound familiar?
Sounds very familiar.
That sounds way more dangerous than coronavirus.
It sure does.
I don't know. We've had about 100,000 deaths.
I heard they revised.
States, they say
didn't they revise those numbers to be like 6% of them? Because
well, they didn't. 94% of them had comorbidities.
Right,
that
which means they died
had
of that.
Something else serious going on.
Yeah, I heard they died of the 96% or whatever, or 94% died of their morbidity rather than COVID.
Well,
they were chalked up as COVID.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, basically, generally when they say comorbidity, they mean it took more than one thing to kill you.
Well,
but a lot of them were literally dying of something else already when they got the Rona, and that's when you're most vulnerable.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, and as we mentioned here on Free Talk Live several times, it seems that hospitals were getting paid more for reporting people having died of COVID than if they'd have just reported on what they actually died of. So.
And those guys will certainly recode something to make some more money because, they got no problem with that.
In the movie V for Vendetta, it is later revealed that the St. Mary's virus was an act of biological warfare by Creedy, the leader of the ruling Norse Fire Party, which was then blamed on a terrorist group. The result of this massacre and subsequent fear-mongering was an overwhelming majority in Parliament for Norse Fire. It's not exactly difficult to see why a dystopian thriller featuring a pandemic would prove so enticing right now. It's partly why audiences turned in droves to Steven Soderbergh's Contagion after the coronavirus became a worldwide concern. So, yeah, it's eerily parallel to what's going on right now with the fear-mongering of coronavirus.
And the ones who sell the panic sell the pill.
We want them to remember why they need us.
Yep.
More commentary on authoritarian fascism here on Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE.
Moose is the German Shepherd, now 11, and he's been an amazing dog. Moose is so active and so alert and hasn't had any kind of health problems at all. He has a beautiful coat, and at 11, he'll still run and chase the ball. He has been on Dynavite since he's a puppy.
Dynavite for life.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it, and the itching and shedding down the road. DINOVITE.com. We tell anybody that has a dog, if there was something that you could do right from the beginning so that you don't have expensive veterinary bills, why would you not do it? Get the Dynavite.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dinovite from DINOVITE.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Are you making sense to the boomer mindset? I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. 80 million baby boomers comprise 25% of the population and control most of the USA's wealth. As aging parents pass on, they'll control more. Boomers are 46 to 65 years old and regard themselves as midlife. They identify as neither young nor old. They're post-minivan and pre-retirement, and they don't like being called boomers. They think me. Many of the purchases boomer couples make are individual purposes. They've been experimenters all their lives. If you want their attention, tell stories and keep it simple. If something seems complicated, boomers can dismiss it as, I don't need this. And if you're looking for work, you may be applying to a boomer, so relate accordingly. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Boom! In your eardrums, it is the sultry tones of Free Talk Live Monday Night Edition.
That's how you get tinnitus.
Tinnitus is an itis of tonight?
Boom in your eardrums.
Boom in your eardrums. This is Free Talk Live. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, like freedom. You can also get us over at Discord at discord.lrn.fm. You can join in the chat fun, and you can also use our on-air call-in lines over there and sound, well, almost as if you're in the studio. And in the studio tonight, it's myself, the captain.
It's Ian.
And nobody.
We've been talking about this movie that you may have seen from 2005 called V for Vendetta.
It's like my favorite movie.
It's definitely in my top 10. As far as, sort of freedom-oriented stuff, it's right up there with The Matrix for me.
Yeah.
As far as, that kind of
what
a thing.
What are some others on your list?
Well, non-freedom-oriented stuff. I really love the movie Anchorman.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of Will Ferrell, like at all, but that was the role he was born to play, in my opinion. And the rest of that cast was fantastic as well. That movie's just hilarious.
Did you see Network?
I have seen Network, yes.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Yes, a great one.
That was a great one.
In this movie, V, the masked vigilante V, is a nameless and faceless force, of course. And he's deliberately drawn in morally ambiguous shades. He believes firmly in the toppling of the Norse Fire government through any means possible, and he dresses in symbology that will encourage others to follow in his footsteps. It's a powerful image in the movie when a crowd of Guy Fawkes masked protesters stand shoulder to shoulder, indistinguishable from one another, as they watch the Houses of Parliament explode. It is worth noting, however, that the politics of the film V for Vendetta are significantly softened from the politics of Moore's work V, a proud anarchist who wants to topple the Norse Fire government, not only because they're a fascist force, but because he believes that all forms of government are inevitable pathways to fascism and authoritarian rule.
Well, we got a government that kills an awful lot of people, so I see no lie here.
Yeah, they definitely weren't clear about that in the movie.
Right.
Yeah, they took out his ode to anarchy. He does like this poem in the beginning of the graphic novel. Have you guys read it?
I've not.
I've not read the graphic novel.
I recommend it highly. It's good.
Nice. He also wishes to see the destruction of the entire concept of the state. In order to make way for utopian anarchism, which he describes as the land of do as you please.
All right.
You know what's utopian? It's the idea that you can give any organization absolute power, make it answerable to nobody but itself, and it will somehow come through that uncorrupted.
Yeah, agreed.
That's utopian.
Agreed. Yeah, everybody who believes the state is the way to fix society's problem is utopian.
Yes.
Let's go to some of your calls and your thoughts. We have the Christian anarchist calling in on our Discord line. Gene, what's going on?
Well, I had to call in and talk about one of my favorite movies, V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
There's two movies that I've watched over 20 times apiece. V for Vendetta is one and Cloud Atlas is the other, and they both were done by the Wachowskis.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
I've seen Cloud Atlas, but it was a little I think I wasn't prepared for what that movie is.
People say you're supposed to watch that one more than once.
I read the book, and I think you would have to watch the movie more than once from that.
Definitely need. The first time I watched Cloud Atlas, afterwards I said, what the heck was that about?
Right.
And for some reason, I decided to watch it a second time, and something started to click. And I said, there's something about that movie. I watched it a third time, and from then I was hooked.
Okay.
By the time I watched it the third time, I knew what was happening and what was going on. I'm thinking, this is a brilliant movie.
I'll give it another spin.
Great.
What did you want to say about V for Vendetta?
V for Vendetta, my other great, fantastic movie, and this one here has got a little bit of Ron Paul memorabilia attached to it for me because when Ron Paul had his convention, was it 2008 in Minneapolis?
I was
his
there.
Alternative. I was there wearing the V for Vendetta costume.
Wow.
So if you saw a guy walking around I had the whole costume, and I wore it to that event. And they wouldn't let me wear my mask indoors. So when I went in, I had to take the mask off. But I still had the rest of it on. And then
That is irony.
after I got in, I put the mask back on after I got in.
Nice.
But anyway.
See, that's funny because that's what I put on when they try and make me put on a mask. I keep a Guy Fawkes mask in my car, and that's what I'm going to go put on.
And then the Ron Paul Liberty Corvette, on the back of it, I have a picture of myself in that costume standing in front of that convention. And another time, I was at another Liberty event, I think it was in Colorado, where Judge Napolitano was part of it, and he was signing his books. He was doing a book signing afterwards. And I walked up to him in the full costume, and he said, "Oh, that movie V for Vendetta." He said, "I love to see Parliament blow up." So,
Yeah,
Judge Napolitano,
Napolitano?
yes, he did.
Yeah,
he said that. He said it to me. Yeah,
I used to tear up at that scene. I would just
with all the people coming out. Yeah, it's very emotional.
No, the building blowing up. I'm sorry.
I mean, that part's fun, but for me, the emotional scene is the people coming out to actually do something.
Well, the one thing that bothered me about that scene was thinking about people what would happen to people if they actually followed that example because they showed up unarmed. They had no guns.
Well, they're in Britain.
And that means in the real world, they're going to get slaughtered.
In the movie world, there was enough of them to where they could overpower the state. So they didn't need the weapons in that particular case because they had the numbers.
Yeah.
That scenario, it was so dystopian that guns would have been outlawed a long time ago. So that's why you need your 3D printer.
Well, they did outlaw the guns.
All of the files
in Great Britain. That's happened.
They've been completely disarmed. Yeah. Australia's disarmed. Canada's mostly disarmed.
Well, they still have like hunting shotguns and stuff in England. But what I'm getting at is, in the line that the movie takes, there was no way for people to have a weapon, in that dystopian society.
Right.
Even though the dystopian society of England today is almost there to the same point. But fantastic movie, and people that have not yet watched it, they need to go out. I don't want to plug Netflix too much, but you can stream it from them, or you can get the DVD on eBay or somewhere like that. I mean, I've got a bunch of copies here. If somebody wants to borrow one, I got tons of illegal copies here. So
hey, I got a suggestion for you. You ever seen Brazil?
I have not.
Check out Brazil. Terry Gilliam from Monty Python directed it, and it is a great movie, and it's dark, but it's good. Be sure to get the European version, though.
I like the ones with a happy ending, though, because ones with dark endings I don't like.
Yeah,
I get enough of dark endings daily in my life. I don't need a movie with a dark ending.
Well, you might want to go for the American version because although they put a happy ending on the movie, and it's actually a great Liberty movie as well. The American studio put a happy ending on the American version of the movie, and Terry Gilliam actually sued them to prevent them from releasing that version.
Wow. Well, thanks for the call tonight, Gene. We appreciate it. If the police in England don't carry firearms, what do? They yell halt, or I'll yell halt again?
Yeah.
Well, they'll call for people with guns.
Oh, I see. So it's just you can't outrun the radio is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And the helicopter.
Yeah, and the helicopter. 855-450-FREE is our toll-free number. Free Talk Live. More coming up.
When you have a pain in the neck, a real pain in the neck, back, shoulder, or legs, you now have two convenient choices to get fast relief without taking another pill. Because now, Sunny Bay heating wraps and pillows are available at both Amazon and Walmart. Yes, see Sunny Bay's 4.5 to 5-star customer reviews on Amazon.com or Walmart.com. Our made in the USA microwavable heat wraps, heatable neck pillows, and extra large body wraps are designed better for perfect support where and when you need it. Even while driving, Sunny Bay wraps will not burn and stay balanced to provide soothing hot or cold therapy to help treat temporary or chronic pain. And the best part? Sunny Bay quality products start at under $20. Join thousands of happy customers and see why Sunny Bay products have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. It's easy. Click Amazon or Walmart and search today for Sunny Bay.
Are you ready for what's next? It's likely coming. More food shortages, power outages, grocery stores closed, social unrest. Ask yourself, do you have enough food and supplies on hand to last at least 30 days? Most Americans do not, but you can. Avoid the panic of the last-minute rush. Order your 4-week supply of emergency food today from mypatriotsupply.com. Starvation or dependency on the government are your only alternatives. Avoid those and the pain of being unprepared. Go to mypatriotsupply.com right now. Build your emergency food supply with meals that last up to 25 years in storage, shipped discreetly to your door. Folks that know what's coming are using today to prepare. There's time for you to do the same. That's mypatriotsupply.com, the original Patriot Preparedness Company. mypatriotsupply.com.
Free Talk Live.
You can tell by the way they're dressed, by their demeanor, that these are illegal. Do you understand that they bring in leprosy and
God, here's the leprosy. Show me the news story about leprosy and not some crackpot website.
Do you understand this is our country and this is about our children?
Wait, stop the jingoistic crap. You're picking and choosing. You're saying that a bunch of murdering, raping lepers are coming across the border.
Oh, yes, they are. In
fact,
that's
nuts, Trish. If that was the case, then in fact we would all know about it. I mean, it sounds like the Night of the Living Dead down there at the border, and they're just coming across looking for the brains.
You think CNN and Fox News is going to tell you this? You got another thing coming.
Why wouldn't they? It'd be great for ratings.
By design, it's meant to bring this country.
Oh, now there's a conspiracy behind it, right? You're going to tell me the NWO's behind all this?
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
He's laughing at me. He said, ha ha. The guy in the music right there. They're all going to laugh at you. 855-450 free is our toll-free number here
They'll
at Free Talk Live.
see you.
They're all going to laugh at you. 855-450-3733. That is. And with you in the studio tonight, it's myself, the captain.
And I'm Ian.
And most of nobody.
Most of nobody. 90% of nobody?
90% of nobody.
Well, that's better than nobody.
Yeah, nobody needs to get some sleep.
Yeah.
Nobody's tired.
Well, we will get to that after the show, but first, we must continue talking. And talking we will. We've been talking about V for Vendetta, a 2005 film by the Wachowski brothers about a figure, a man whose idea has come.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about his politics and how they were toned down for the film. In the graphic novel, he was more of a all the way, if you will, anarchist.
Yeah, in the movie, he says, people shouldn't fear the government. Government should fear the people.
Right.
In the comic book, it's closer to, there shouldn't be any government to fear you.
Right. And this article from ScreenRant.com says it's not surprising that such politics were downplayed and made more palatable for a major Hollywood production. In 2005,
made weaker.
Yeah, in 2005 was the era of George W. Bush and post 9/11 power. The general public were far less likely to acquiesce to a story of such radical left-wing concepts. Really? Are those radical left-wing concepts?
There are left-wing anarchists,
Right.
but not all anarchists not all anarchism is left-wing.
Right.
The thing is, when you talk about left-wing and right-wing anarchism, in a lot of cases, you're talking more about the attitude with which they would approach freedom, I think, and not, most of the people, very few of the people I've talked to on either side wanted these ideas enforced.
Right.
It's not quite the same as what the tankies want or whatever.
Having lived on the left coast, the West Coast, I have met self-professed left anarchists.
Right.
And I couldn't really find a difference between what they were advocating, what I was advocating on the general level, right? You're advocating no state, so am I.
Your utopias probably aren't that much different. They may have more of a cooperative attitude toward, but that's attitude, and so you can have any attitude you want in Ancapistan. But the difference is they tend to be very happy to support, in some cases, the government in the short run.
Okay.
So, they'll be saying, we shouldn't have a government, but as long as they have a government, they should raise the minimum wage.
Right.
That kind of thing,
Right.
which
Okay.
you don't usually hear that kind of thing.
Isn't that kind of the same thing that happens to the folks who support the border, who are on the right?
Yes,
right?
yes.
They're well, we shouldn't have a state, but as long as we do, we should lock down the borders and make sure that the pesky Mexicans don't come in.
And there's some level of that's understandable to some level, because the thing that makes immigration as a problem isn't the people coming in, it's the people who are already here that rob you in order to pay to bring people in. And but that's a different matter than just immigration.
It's usually described to me as the immigrants that come over here and then leech off the welfare system. Right?
Yeah, but they can't really do that very much in most cases. The exception to that is, I think, refugees. If they're bona fide refugees, I think they can get something.
Yeah.
But
it's interesting that this article calls this radical left concept.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about that is, please don't think that I think I owe you if you were born here, because I don't. I don't care if you're an immigrant or not. I just want the welfare state to go away.
Yeah, the lottery of birth is an interesting concept when it comes to statism, right? That because you were born on this specific piece of dirt, you are entitled to these things, but if you were born on the other side of that piece of dirt, you're not entitled to all those things.
Well, that's definitely some. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. So
it's all about where you were born. It's
the lottery of birth.
There were a lot of commies who were born in America, and I'll tell you what, I'd swap half a dozen of them for one of those Hong Kong protesters, because they want to live like I want to live.
Yeah, and the same thing for me with illegal immigrants, the ones who are coming here to pick the lettuce. Right?
Yeah.
Work on the farm. The jobs nobody else wants to do or is willing to do, right? They want to work. They want to earn. They want to come here and, earn for their family. I have no problem with people who are motivated to earn and work. What I have a problem with is people who don't.
Yeah.
I have a bit of a problem. Now, if they're self-sufficient, far out solid and right on. But if they're not self-sufficient and they're leeching off any kind of a system, well, then that's sheer
and that's the
hypocrisy.
same if they were born in the house next door to me. It's not about where they come from. It's a matter about,
right. It's not about what plot of land were they born on. It's about their attitude as a human being.
Yeah, exactly. Are they going to make a contribution, or are they going to leech like, Donald Trump?
So the article continues. The overall sentiment of the time was one of growing anti-Bush rhetoric, but still an era wherein open condemnation of the American war in Iraq and criticism of the government's foreign policy put you at risk of being labeled unpatriotic or even treacherous.
Yeah, I've been labeled worse than that.
I'm like, oh, is that the best you can do? You're unpatriotic. Yeah. Ooh, oh, I feel so insulted.
Yeah.
Not.
Well, death threats are irritating a little bit. But,
yeah, okay, but,
you get over them.
It remains unclear if a V for Vendetta movie would have been as successful or if it would have been even made if it adhered to Alan Moore's anarchistic stance. That's speculation. I can't say whether or not. I think, based on the movie that I've seen, that if it had been slightly more anarchistic than it was, I think it might have been an even better movie, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, from our perspective, it would have been, but of course, it has to go through the hands of a variety of people in Hollywood first. And the Wachowskis, I don't want to jump to too many conclusions, but given some of the statements that at least one of them made recently in response to Donald Trump, they seem to be somewhat partisan. So I wouldn't go so far as to say they are anarchists. And if they are, I'd love to be corrected on that.
Well, they may well. I mean, you can be an anarchist and still either hate Obama more than Trump or hate Trump more than Obama.
Okay.
But again, that's a matter of attitude, I think, which one you're going to hate more.
What if you hate them equally?
If you hate them equally, then you're probably the best anarchist of all.
And wait a minute, I'm sorry, Ian, did you say you'd love to be corrected?
Yeah, I would love to find out that the Wachowskis were actually anarchists.
Okay, listeners, if you've ever wanted to correct Ian on something, now is your chance. 855-450-FREE, like freedom. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm just messing with you. So V's Guy Fawkes mask became a prevailing political symbol in the late 2000s when Anonymous, the internet-based pseudo-activist movement, are they a pseudo-activist movement? I don't know. Adopted it as their brand of sorts.
Well, they're probably using Linux boxes, so it's sudo spelled S-U-D-O. It's a command that gives you root access.
to strike at the root of the problem, which is the state. Nice.
Gotta strike the root.
Nice. To this day, it's not uncommon to see protesters of various causes wearing Guy Fawkes masks, from Project Chinology's protest against the Church of Scientology to the Occupy movement to recent pro-democracy marches in Hong Kong and other demonstrations we've seen here.
We've seen it definitely.
The mask of an anarchist, the opposing force to fascism in both the graphic novel and movie, is now an evolving vessel that symbolizes resistance in all its forms. And I think it's fantastic that a piece of art has had that kind of an impact on society, that it has been adopted in that way.
Guy Fawkes was not an anarchist. He was nowhere near.
Right.
And he wasn't a great guy, although he did have the great idea to decapitate the whole government.
855-450-FREE. We've got more Free Talk Live for you. Coming right up.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now's your chance to be part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for everyone to use it in everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that's as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more, and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means, stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Continuing to call for law and order. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump announcing the Departments of Justice and Homeland Security are teaming up to investigate what he called left-wing civil unrest as violent protests in some major cities continue for weeks.
The president, ahead of his trip to Kenosha, Wisconsin, said that city and others are in need of law enforcement help to stop those he calls anarchists. The president said he stands ready to provide support.
We want states to work with us to deploy the National Guard to quell the unrest. All they have to do is call us.
President Trump says the worst problems are in cities he says are Democrat-run. He also said he disregarded Wisconsin Democratic Governor Tony Evers' request to not go, saying he wanted to greet the people who kept the streets safe. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden blames President Trump for the unrest.
The current president wants you to live in fear. He advertises himself as a figure of order. He isn't. And he's not been part of the solution thus far. He's part of the problem.
Biden speaking this afternoon in Pittsburgh, adding people know his story and his family's story, and asked if he looked like a radical socialist with a soft spot for rioters. Days after Hurricane Laura slammed into the Gulf Coast, Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards is warning residents they are in for a long recovery. Over 320,000 people remain without power, and hundreds of thousands are without water or are under boil water advisories. Dr. Anthony Fauci says Labor Day weekend will be key in determining whether the U.S. gets what he's calling a running start at containing COVID-19 this fall. He made the comments during a White House conference call, the audio of which was obtained by the Associated Press. America is listening to Fox News.
2020 has been a gut punch to American business. And if you're going to succeed, you need every possible advantage. That's why savvy companies like Moink run on NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. With NetSuite, Moink has visibility and control over their financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything they need, all in one place. So they can deliver ethically raised, delicious meat to homes all across the country. Here's Moink founder, Lucinda Cramsey.
Feeding America is not a job I take lightly. I need to know how my numbers translate to food on folks' tables. So I ain't got no time for a math mistake. NetSuite is my single source of truth. Financials, inventory, and supply chain, all in real time. Americans depend on Moink to keep their families fed, so I depend on NetSuite.
NetSuite surveyed hundreds of business leaders and assembled a playbook called 7 Actions Businesses Need to Take Now. Receive your free playbook and schedule your free product tour at netsuite.com/Fox. That's netsuite.com/Fox.
A large southern university seeing a surge in the number of cases of COVID-19.
The University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa now has at least 1,200 people on campus who have tested positive for coronavirus infection. The school opened for the semester earlier this month, and since then they've reported increasing numbers of cases at the university. It prompted Tuscaloosa city officials to order bars be shut down. Other University of Alabama schools in other cities have had only a handful of cases. Evan Brown, Fox News.
This is the head of the World Health Organization warning that opening up too quickly while the pandemic is still going on is a recipe for disaster. Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus says the more control countries have over the virus, the more they can open up, and insists that countries that are serious about opening up must also be serious about suppressing transmission. The NHL set up bubbles to try to continue play during the pandemic, and it appears to be working.
For the fifth week in a row, the NHL reporting 0 positive coronavirus tests among each team's 52-member traveling party within the Toronto and Edmonton secure zones. Daily tests were taken for each person between August 23rd and the 29th, after initially starting with 24 clubs in contention for a shot at the Stanley Cup. In these designated bubbles, it's now narrowed down to 8, as the Eastern Conference teams who come away with series victories here in the second round will vacate the Toronto hub to head to Edmonton, which will house the best of 7 finales for both the East and the West, as well as the Stanley Cup Finals. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
Georgetown basketball coaching great John Thompson has died. The Hall of Famer turned the team into a powerhouse while at the helm. He took over coaching the team in the 1970s and turned it into a perennial contender, culminating in a national title in 1984, becoming the first black coach to lead a team to the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. He was 78. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
American researchers have definitively concluded that all of it, is some kind of sick joke. The Princeton study suggests that the entirety of existence, including time, marriage, migratory patterns of birds, continental drift, life itself, photosynthesis, human society, and the changing of the seasons, are all part of a massive, twisted ruse orchestrated by a spiteful cosmos.
Look at you morons, taking this stupid video for your pointless newspaper. Everything's a joke. I'm a joke, you're a joke, the whole universe is a joke.
We at the Onion Week in Review are compelled to inform viewers that while this entire segment is indeed one small part of the giant perverse joke, the upshot is that the next minute of your life will be no more or less pointless than if you were to spend it with a loved one, mentoring an at-risk youth, or simply wallowing in your own feculence. In other news, Harley Davidson and Jack Daniels collaborate on a local felony. A churchgoer blanks on why she's lighting a votive candle. And please ring the bell and the boy will come round momentarily for your bags. For more news, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
Free Talk Live.
Yes, it is Free Talk Live. This is the Monday night edition with yours truly hosting the show. Who's crazy enough to put me in charge of this kind of thing? Some guy. We'll have to have words with him later. At any rate, joining me in the studio, it's
Ian.
And nobody.
And we are here to talk about all sorts of things. You can give us a call at 855-450-3733 and talk about whatever's on your mind if you like. And in fact, let's go to some of your calls and thoughts right now. Let's go to Eugene in, is it Fort Smith, Arkansas? Hello, Eugene. Eugene.
Hello?
Hi, you're on the air.
Yes, you're on the air. What's on your mind?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Great.
Yeah, Fort Smith, Arkansas is where I am. But I had two questions that maybe you can help me with. There were a couple of talk shows on earlier, and Tony Perkins was one, and he had the one of the head of the guys of the Homeland Security. Anyway, the big talk has been going on about the mayors and such that have, let's say, so-called fighting and that kind of thing like that. Okay, well, if a mayor or a prosecuting attorney or a governor or whoever, if they allow an illegal activity, then they're doing an illegal activity. So first of all, why have they not been arrested and put in jail?
Good question.
And then the second thing, is, if the federal government, and don't get me wrong, I believe President Trump's been done as much as he can. But what I'm getting at is, if the federal government's supposed to take care of it, if the local one is not, why haven't they took care of it before now? And in other words, it should have been taken care of the second day or whatever. So
yeah, you're referring to rioting, just for our listeners that may have missed that piece. There was a little digital glitch there when you mentioned the rioting. So go ahead.
I think I can give you an answer to that. That's pretty good. The reason is because the Supreme Court has ruled regularly, repeatedly, that the government has no obligation to defend you or to do anything else for the money that they steal from you.
Yeah.
They owe you nothing for that. They owe you no defense, so you're not a citizen, because a citizen is someone who owes loyalty to the king for being defended by him, but they don't have to defend you. They'll defend you if they feel like it. Like if they get a chance to shoot somebody they don't like, maybe they'll show up.
And if I'm not mistaken, those Supreme Court rulings have applied to not just military, but also police and National Guard.
Everybody. There's nobody in government owes you anything. You're there to give them their money and to shut up.
Well, you know what you just said portrays the picture of what goes on. That's for sure. Yeah. But I did not know we had a country that, or a law system that was like that. That is just not right in any way.
It's outrageous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't want you to know because, if people understood how the system really works and how the system's really built, we would have a revolution before Monday morning.
Exactly, and that's what I'm thinking needs to happen, because the people need to take our country back.
I'm right there with you.
The country's over, man. It's not going to come back.
Well, I think we need to take our states back. I think we need to take our states, take our balls, and go home, and let the federal government just slink off and die.
Yeah, the country's a failure. I mean, why would you ever want to be in Arkansas saddled with the people out in California and have them people telling you what to do?
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, and I guess the proper word I should have said was take our law system back, I guess maybe would be the more appropriate. But yeah.
I think taking federalism back would probably go a long way, but I don't think it's doable. I don't think you can reduce the power of the federal government without putting them out of their misery.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've not asked every person or investigated every person, but to me, it's reasonable to think that people just want to, most people, a lot of people just want to be zombies. They just want to be told what to do, and then they go home and leave them alone. And that's exactly what the government's trying to do to them.
Oh, indeed.
Well, that's fine with me so long as they hire Mr. Spanks-a-Lot to tell them what to do instead of somebody who's going to try and force me into their little games, because I'm not interested. I like to do the spanking.
Exactly.
Any final thoughts, Eugene?
No, we did a pretty good summary of it all right there.
All right, I appreciate the call. Have a good night, Eugene. For our listeners that might not be aware of what nobody is talking about, it has indeed been ruled repeatedly that government has no duty or obligation to protect you ever. That means police, that means military, any form of government agency.
Fire department.
Yeah. All of
CIA,
that
NSA.
And the definition of a citizen is one who exchanges a duty of allegiance for a duty of protection.
That's the definition.
And so since the duty of protection does not exist, therefore citizens also do not exist. By definition.
The wording is, and they're similar, but the wording is a duty of allegiance in return for an obligation of protection. Okay. Meaning they are obliged to protect you. It is... That's what they're supposed to do. And the government has made it clear that they have no obligation.
Correct.
Yeah. Over and over and over again in multiple Supreme Court cases over decades, they have reaffirmed and reaffirmed.
So that little writing on the side of the police cars that they always like to point out in the TV and the movies?
To
protect and serve. Yeah. Oh, they're there to protect and serve.
It's not used.
They're there to protect The fat cat's against you, and they're there to serve themselves.
That's exactly right.
Yes, that is precisely right. So circling back to the rest of this article for the V for Vendetta movie, what V for Vendetta is most successful at, both in terms of the graphic novel and the movie, is in revealing how little it takes for society's thin veneer of civilization to crumble in favor of anti-democratic ideals. I don't know. Is that true? Is that what it's most successful at?
I don't know, but it's pretty successful, I think, at that, or at least showing how fake a lot of it is.
Yeah, that's for sure. It certainly points out the fake.
Because the thing is, they're putting innocent people in prison today, now, and they know it.
Yeah.
And they're still going to do it.
The article continues, authoritarianism is more likely to be welcomed with open arms by a world that sees it as a necessary evil, a means to an end to silence critics and those who hint at the vaguest form of left-wing radicalism. Given the current circumstances, with Black Lives Matter protests taking place in all 50 states and the scourge of state-endorsed police brutality on display for all to see, V's message will always carry weight. Whether it's 1988 or 2020, the details may change, but the end goal is the same: freedom from tyranny, which I fully agree with. That's why I love the movie. It's great.
Yeah, I was looking around a little bit just to see if I could discern from internet searches what the Wachowskis' viewpoints might be politically.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot out there, at least that I could initially find, although I did see that Lily Wachowski, again, they were born male but are now trans. Lily Wachowski, who I believe was formerly Andy Wachowski, has a duck photograph on her Twitter profile photo, and the duck has a little anarchy symbol on its forehead.
Huh.
So, I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. I used to know a prison guard who had an anarchy tattoo.
Is there a little circle around the A in the Wachowskis, or Wachowskis, however you pronounce it?
On the duck, on the photograph of the graphic of the duck, there's a circle around the A.
Well, that is very interesting.
Yeah.
855-450-FREE is our toll-free number. We are Free Talk Live, and we've got more coming up.
Moose is the German Shepherd and hasn't had any kind of health problems at all. He has been on Dinovite since he's a puppy. DINOVITE.com. We tell anybody that has a dog, if there was something that you could do right from the beginning so that you don't have expensive veterinary bills, why would you not do it? Get the Dinovite.
Dinovite for life. You get some Dinovite, how happy your dog will be.
DINOVITE.com.
Divvy's been a pretty good investment for Free Talk Live. Their ad campaign started in September 2019, and from mid-March to mid-July, the values soared by 10 times. It's not too late. Divvy's new wallet hasn't even released yet, and other things are happening that I can't even say on the radio. If you want to invest and potentially do well, go to divvyproject.org. I can tell you that FTL is deepening its partnership with the guys from divvyproject.org. Past performance is not an indication of future profit. divvyproject.org. DIVI project.org.
Got shaving irritation? Shave Secret shaving oil can help stop it. Shave Secret doesn't cost much and is an all-American product. My name is Chuck Howard, and I developed Shave Secret and pioneered its use starting back in 1991. Ingrown hairs drove me nuts for years. Shaving oil changed all that. Why put up with ingrown hair, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts? Shave with what we believe is the best shave ever. Our proprietary blend of 100% natural base and essential oils plus a hint of menthol was designed to help eliminate shaving irritations like ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts. We'll lose those shaving irritations. H-E-B, Wegmans, Giant Eagle, Discount Drug, Navy and Marine Exchanges, Amazon, and ShaveSecret.com. Use the code FTL for Free Talk Live and get a discount. Shave Secret, the best shave ever.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi.
My name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Yes, there once was a man from Nantucket who's... Oh, wait. Are we on? Oh, we're live? Oh, I probably shouldn't tell that joke. It is Free Talk Live. We're into the third and final hour of the show. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. If you would like to join in on the fun, take control of the airwaves. Talk about whatever's on your mind. In the studio tonight, it's myself, the captain.
It's Ian.
And Nobody.
Do you have a WordPress website running WooCommerce and you want to accept cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin Dash, Bitcoin Cash, or Bitcoin SV? Now you can easily enable crypto payments from your customers by adding the AnyPay plugin to your WordPress site. It only takes a moment, right? WooCommerce, right? It only takes a moment. Just visit anypayinc.com and set up your account by entering your crypto wallet addresses in the admin. Then enable the AnyPay plugin in your WooCommerce, and that's it. Now your website takes cryptocurrency thanks to anypayinc.com. That's anypayinc.com. That is pretty darn cool. I know e-commerce was something that, as a guy in a band or several bands, that I struggled with implementing on an independent level. There were always people that wanted you to subscribe to their service and do the drop shipping for you and all that kind of stuff, in which, of course, you made jack and squat, and it was always difficult. The only recourse you had was like a PayPal button to put on your website back in the day. That's all you could do for e-commerce, right, as an independent, right, unless you wanted to go get like a merchant account or something like that.
Crypto really changed all that.
Crypto has made all of that a reality. So thanks to the guys at AnyPay for that. We're going to shift gears slightly because we love talking about cryptocurrency here. This time, though, somebody has lost a significant quantity of BTC, which is Bitcoin.
1,400 of them, which is right now about $16 million worth of Bitcoin.
That's
gone forever. Because you can't pull back a Bitcoin transaction. Normally, one of the perks of Bitcoin is that, it's permanent. And for business owners that are getting payments from customers, you don't want your customers, the scammers, for instance, to be able to pull back payments from you. And then they got your product and they get their payment back. So it's a feature of Bitcoin to have permanent transactions. But that also means that your level of responsibility has to go through the roof because you can't rely on anyone else but yourself to get it right.
So how does one go about losing 1,400 Bitcoin?
Bet it's easy.
It was easy. I mean, it may not have been easy to acquire the 1,400 Bitcoin, but it was easy to lose it in this incident here.
Like I've had to take a crap at like somebody a foreign place, right? Somewhere I've never been before, and my wallet has fallen out of my pocket. And, I lost money or whatever, right?
Okay.
Or the wallet got returned to me, but sans whatever cash I had. So it's pretty easy to lose cash, right? I would be highly protective of something like 1,400 Bitcoin, right? I would make sure that my transaction was legit and secure. And, I think I would try and do everything possible to, that's a one-time thing, like you're saying. It's a permanent transaction. So I guess I find it difficult to believe anybody of any level of intelligence with Bitcoin would just lose 1,400 without something going awry.
Well, they were tricked in this particular case, and I've seen this particular. It's not a hack. It's just like an exploit, basically, of a wallet that is maybe not the most popular wallet, but also not unknown. It's called Electrum. It is a wallet that is somewhat popular, I think, on like desktop or laptop computers. So your typical user day to day, if you're walking around with your phone, I don't know if there's a phone version of Electrum. I think it's like one of those desktop-y kind of things. But previous versions of Electrum, now they've supposedly fixed this bug, although one of our guys in our local crypto chat says no, the bug hasn't been completely fixed yet. So I don't know what the truth is about that. But they say they've fixed the bug.
Electrum
says they fixed the bug. Yeah, and this was a couple of years ago that this was present on my version. I had this software on my computer, and it popped up an error message saying that my software was out of date and that I needed to go and get an upgrade. And so I was looking at this message, and I forget what it was that really
from
made me
inside
think.
the wallet?
From inside the wallet. And I forget what it was that made me think, that doesn't look right. But there was something about it, just
syntax, misspelling, something.
I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a couple of years since it happened to me.
Your spider sense was tingling.
Yeah, and I'm like, And I don't know if I clicked over to the link just to see what was there. So again, I don't know at which point that I was like, okay, this isn't right.
Yeah.
Basically, what the software was allowing was that the way it works, I don't want to get too technical, but with a full Bitcoin wallet, a full node, you have a full copy of the blockchain. You have all your keys on your computer, everything you need to send and receive Bitcoin. It's all on your computer.
Right.
With most Bitcoin clients, most Bitcoin software like Electrum or your wallet that you might have on your phone, for instance, you do not have a copy of the blockchain because the blockchain for Bitcoin is 300 gigabytes in size.
Right.
There's basically no phone on the planet that has enough storage space to store the Bitcoin blockchain on the phone. Neither would it have enough real processing power to keep up to date with the blockchain because, if you've got a full node, you're constantly processing transactions. There's like I used to have one on that computer, Captain. I haven't had it for a couple of years because it was so noisy.
Right.
The hard drives were running constantly. I mean, it wasn't like that, but it was click, 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 just constant in and out from the hard drives. So it's a taxing thing on a computer to have one of these Bitcoin full nodes.
Right.
So what you do with Electrum is it connects to servers, and the server has a copy of the full node, and it can essentially relay the transaction that you. So if I want to send you Bitcoin from my Electrum wallet, I would put in your address and tell it to send and confirm all the information, and then that goes out to this server, which then relays that to the network.
The wallet then is just the display portion of it's the terminal, right?
Yeah, it's the terminal.
Okay.
You still have your keys on your wallet, so the server doesn't have your key. It just passes along whatever command. Well, there are malicious servers out there who will send messaging to these older versions of the Electrum wallet. There was some sort of system in the old wallet to allow the server to send a pop-up message.
Okay.
And so a malicious, nasty person decided to program a server to where it looks like it's a server. It may even act as though it's a server. It may do the passing along of the transactions until it doesn't. And then it throws up an error and says,
We're sorry, you are an out-of-date wallet, and we can't pass your transaction along until you upgrade your wallet. Just click here to upgrade. And then when you click there to upgrade, it takes you to the hacker's website. And, of course, the hacker's website is designed to look like the real McCoy. And you then download their version of Electrum, which then when you load that up, you then give it your access to your keys, and then it has your 1,400 Bitcoin, and then it just sends it all to its owner.
That is disappointing.
That's what happened here.
That is ugly.
It's a tricky thing.
Have you ever lost 1,400 Bitcoin? 855-450 free is our toll-free number. This is Free Talk Live.
News from news.bitcoin.com. U.S. Postal Service files a patent for new blockchain voting method. Warren Buffett changes his opinion on gold. Maybe Bitcoin is next. $6 billion Akon cryptocurrency city underway. Former Prudential CEO says now's the time to buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin.com is your source for getting started with cryptocurrencies. Getting a wallet, buying Bitcoin Cash, mining, and all the latest cryptocurrency news at news.bitcoin.com. Subscribe to Bitcoin.com's YouTube channel too.
Want to accept Bitcoin at your online store? There's a good chance you already have what you need. A WordPress using WooCommerce and a Bitcoin address. Now all you need to start taking Bitcoin payments on your website is the AnyPay app on your Android or iPhone. Just paste your Bitcoin address into AnyPay, then connect it to your website with our one-click plugin for WordPress. Now your website takes Bitcoin, start to finish in 15 minutes or less with no complicated steps. Download AnyPay from the App Store today.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Big old jet had a light on. Wait, that's not the lyric.
Don't carry me too far away.
855-450 free, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live, in case our witty banter somehow confused you. We'll try not to do that anymore. I apologize. But nobody does not. Nobody does not apologize. That's right.
Nobody does not apologize. Nobody believes what nobody believes.
In the studio tonight, it's myself, the captain.
I'm Ian.
And I'm nobody.
And we were just talking about somebody who lost 1,400 Bitcoin. Yes, BTC, the actual, original, if you will. And how that's possible. I wanted to just sort of follow that on with this other article from Bitcoin.com with a bit of good news. And I say that because I've never seen this happen before. The headline reads, Visa executive says, quote, opt out with Bitcoin, unquote, while slamming the Fed's policy change towards inflation.
Yeah. I wouldn't be that specific. As a matter of fact, that's the one coin I would not opt out with. I would opt out with gold, with silver, with Bitcoin Cash, with Dash, with anything but Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has become way too expensive to use.
Well, okay, so for those of us who have been around Bitcoin for a little while, we understand all of that. Yeah. To me, what I hear...
Hopefully the guy who's buying his first, one guy who's going to buy his first Bitcoin sometime soon will understand it now.
Correct. But what I hear when somebody says this is a vote for cryptocurrency in general.
Yes, absolutely.
And I have never, correct me if I'm wrong, I have yet to see somebody from some sort of finance company, particularly anything resembling a bank or a large company like Visa, for example, come out and go, yeah, you know what, the Fed sucks, you should go into crypto.
Yeah, well, even to say that the emperor has no clothes in their monetary system is surprising.
Yes.
Because that's the big lie that keeps them able to steal from us.
Yeah, that is a fact. The article begins, on Thursday, 17 top Federal Reserve officials explained that the committee plans to let inflation run hotter than usual.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Or above the benchmark 2% rate for a duration of time. Fed Chair Jerome Powell's speech was considered a major policy shift, and a number of economists commented on the central bank's move. Senior Director of Policy at Visa, Andy Yee, said Powell's inflation statements were historical and people should opt out with Bitcoin.
Andy Yee, according to his website, is a technology policy expert, is public policy director for Visa in Greater China.
Wow.
That's even more interesting. Mm-hmm. According to the U.S. Federal Reserve, the central bank will be allowing inflation to run up higher than 2% for a period of time.
How much higher?
They've been letting it do that for 100 years.
They kind of don't have a choice. They keep creating more and more dollars, and so that, of course, means inflation.
Didn't they inflate the currency by 20% this year already? I think I heard
with
that.
With all the billions of dollars that they dumped into the system.
Trillions. And now they're saying they want another $3 trillion, or the people get nothing. But they got to have $3 more trillion for the corporations.
Get ready for hyperinflation, man.
Yeah.
The Fed also said...
I think it's reached the level of it's almost an exit scam now. I think they know that their days are numbered.
Well, isn't that what all hyperinflation periods are? Exit scams? It's them milking it for the very last amount they can get out of it?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it does have a lot to do, a lot in common with an exit scam, because you're destroying your currency when you do this. It's not a surprise.
Right, you've turned on the printing presses to maximum. You've run out the door in the hopes that they don't lynch you on the way out.
Yeah.
Luckily for you, the listener, you can exit the scam using tools like cryptocurrency or even hard currency like the Utah Goldback or gold or silver. Is a place to put the value that you're earning now so that it doesn't lose value over the course of time, because the more money they print, the faster your dollars will be worthless. You've seen this in places like, wasn't it Brazil that had the hyperinflation?
Did they have hyperinflation in Brazil?
No, they did not. Venezuela.
Venezuela, thank you. Venezuela, where you get paid today and your paycheck can say, I don't know, buy 10 loaves of bread, and tomorrow it can only buy 3.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And in Germany is another place where they had hyperinflation that really demonstrates the danger, because Germany's hyperinflation came just before World War II, and it was a lot of what made Germany desperate enough to accept Hitler, because what people do when they're afraid and desperate is they look for a strong man to save them.
Right.
And they found instead a lunatic.
Well, unfortunately, that's true of people in a lot of cases. I mean, people are constantly looking for a strong man. Look at the U.S. elections. It's all about this one great man, whether you believe it's going to be Trump or you believe it's Biden, who's going to come to the rescue and save the country.
Does anybody think Biden's great? I thought they just thought even a senile lunatic child molester was better than Trump.
I don't know what they think about him, but I think he's got some fans out there. I mean, otherwise he wouldn't have gotten as far as he has done. And, these people are looking to these great men to save the country. It's always the most important election of our lifetime. They always say that.
It's amazing to me that the Democrats were that scared of Bernie Sanders, because basically Bernie Sanders was doing very well, and they shut down the whole primary. Every candidate in the primary, one by one, dropped off to give the thing as a gift to a senile old child molester who doesn't even know where he is half the time, as far as I can tell.
So are fans of Joe Biden, do they go by the term the sniffed?
The what?
As in they have been sniffed by him?
They have been sniffed?
They have been sniffed, and he has smelled the smell.
And what a smell it is.
Yeah.
It's my problem with most politicians is, they stink.
Smell of death around you.
The article continues. The Fed also said that it wouldn't hold a bias toward the labor markets, and the central bank will hold to its new policy framework. News.bitcoin.com recently reported on the Fed's inflation proposal and how it aims to leverage the economy's inflation rate.
Whatever that means.
The committee seeks to achieve inflation that averages 2% over time, and therefore judges that following periods when inflation has been running persistently below 2%. The Fed explained on Thursday. That doesn't sound like an explanation.
It's following a period in which inflation has been systemically underreported, if that's what they mean.
Yeah, 2% is just a straight-up lie.
They don't talk about, they don't include fuel in that. They don't include housing in that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of categories they don't include.
Oh, yeah.
Appropriate monetary policy will likely aim to achieve inflation moderately above 2% for some time, the central bank added. So
lies.
They're basically trying to make you not afraid if inflation goes above 2%, is what it sounds like.
And they're not saying how much farther above 2%.
No.
Not that the 2% is an honest figure at all in the first place. Some argue that inflation has, prior to this year, been higher than 2%. Generally, like there's some people who make the point that if you look at other factors, you look at grocery prices, you look at these other things, you'll see that inflation is actually higher than that.
Well, and they use that to hide the inflation. Like, what was the real inflation rate during the housing boom? Before that bust hit, because the price of housing was going crazy.
Yeah, I do not know, but 855-450-FREE is our toll-free number. We have more Free Talk Live for you coming up. This is Free Talk Live.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to generate an endless supply of natural silver solutions. SilverLungs.com. You'll find no wild claims or pseudoscience, just a lifetime of nano-sized pure silver solutions. The Silver Lungs generator allows you to make your own, so stop paying for silver solutions. The unique lung delivery system targets respiratory infections where other silver solutions simply cannot reach. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at SilverLungs.com. That's SilverLungs.com.
Attention radio listeners, have you ever wanted to be independent of the utility companies and actually generate your own supply of off-grid electrical power? If so, this is going to be the most important message you'll ever hear. Here's why. A limited number of solar-powered backup generators are back in stock and now available. These emergency backup systems provide life-saving electrical power when you need it most. And unlike gas generators, a solar generator runs quietly, emits no fumes, and produces an endless supply of free electricity from the sun. It's like having an electric power plant running silently, secretly in your own home. Run sump pumps, shortwave radios, computers, even keep food from spoiling. Go to mysolarbackup.com to learn more. That's mysolarbackup.com. Supplies are still limited and are available on a first-come, first-served basis only. mysolarbackup.com.
With a MECTEC carbine conversion unit, you can turn an XD family Glock or 1911 handgun into a carbine rifle in seconds and have it shipped right to your door, no FFL required. Now, MECTEC is excited to announce our pistol carbine conversion unit. More compact with a 12-inch barrel and an arm brace, proving once again that MECTEC is the world's most versatile handgun accessory. For a limited time, go to handgunconversions.com. That's handgunconversions.com and use coupon code RADIO to receive $35 off any carbine purchase.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it.
Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
I just like saying "Hua." It's spelled H-U-A for those who don't know. It could be pronounced Hua. H-U-A, but it calls it Hua. I don't know what it means.
Ain't nothing to mess with.
Yeah, I don't have a definition of Hua. But it is the last two things in the name of the dog, Chihuahua. Chihuahua. Is how
It's getting deep.
Okay.
Yes, it is. I wore my boots today. This is Free Talk Live, if you were wondering. It's 855 450.
Save the watch.
Free. This was your granddaddy's watch. 855-450-3733 is our toll-free number if you would like to call and talk about anything you want. With you in the studio tonight, it's myself, the captain.
I'm Ian.
And I'm nobody.
And before we continue, I just want to take a minute to thank Number 6. Number 6 is the name of one of our Free Talk Live amplifiers.
I am not a number. I am a free man. Anybody seen The Prisoner?
I'm aware of it, but I've not seen it.
But in this case, this is a person who used a pseudonym who has chosen to donate some money to our amplifier program over at amp.freetalklive.com. That's amp.freetalklive.com. The purpose of somebody donating money in that respect is for us to get on more radio stations than we're currently on. We're somewhere around 190 radio stations, depending on the day right now. We could be on 200. We could be on 250. It's all up to you at amp.freetalklive.com. Thank you, Number 6, for being a platinum subscriber. When you do become an amplifier, you do get some perks and some little niceties that are available to you as one of our listeners. So if you like our programming, if you like what you hear on Free Talk Live, please consider becoming an amplifier. That's amp.freetalklive.com.
And Number 6, be seeing you.
That's also from the
That's
the show?
also from The Prisoner.
Very well.
Actually, they use the beginning of The Prisoner as the intro to a song, though. I can't remember the song. It's like a heavy metal song where I am number 2. Who is number 1? You are number 6.
Interesting.
I am not a number.
It doesn't ring a bell. But at any rate, this article from Bitcoin.com is talking about Andy Yee, who's a senior director of policy at Visa. He tweeted this about the Fed's latest move, the Federal Reserve, that is, their latest move to let inflation run hotter than usual. Jerome Powell's...
I love run hotter than usual.
Right, yeah. Quote, Jerome Powell's speech today will be for the history books, Yee said. The Visa executive continued, never in the history of mankind was so much stolen from so many by so few. Opt out with Bitcoin.
I like this guy better every time he says something. He's telling some truth.
I mean, normally Visa and MasterCard are right there, belly up at the trough, waiting for the government to hand out bennies and eating them up. I mean, I can't believe this guy still has a job.
Well, that's absolutely true. But then when I was working for Citibank, I mean, they were getting the bailouts. It was 2008. And I was trying to get my coworkers with some success to sign a letter saying we'd rather lose our jobs than have Citibank get a bailout because, sometimes as a private person, you just recognize that your employer is horrible.
That's what I'm saying. I'm surprised he still has a job.
Yeah.
Isn't there a...
Well, he might.
Isn't there a disproportionate amount of mining for cryptocurrency, specifically
in
Bitcoin
China?
In China?
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder
there is.
So I wonder if this is like sort of a political move because
maybe he's got personal investments in mining operations.
Oh, maybe he does.
It's definitely possible.
Because didn't you say he was based in China? This particular Visa?
Yes,
he is.
Interesting.
So that's a possibility, and yeah, there's a lot of mining in China. Whenever I find somebody who has connections to China, I'm just like, do you know any Bitcoin miners?
Right.
I need coin.
But it's still I think a thing that I've never seen before. A quote like this from an executive in a financial company such as Visa, saying, "Never in the history of mankind was so much stolen from so many by so few. Opt out with Bitcoin." It's heavy.
So rare that you hear this banker trash tell the truth that you really should savor it.
On Twitter, the Visa executive Yee has commented on Bitcoin on numerous occasions in the past. When CNBC reported that the Fed chair was set to deliver a profoundly consequential speech, Yee said, in 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto delivered a profoundly consequential white paper changing how people view money.
Yeah.
Fact. Raul Pal, the chief executive officer at Real Vision, also explained on Twitter that he knows that gold and Bitcoin have slumped in recent days, but stressed that Jerome Powell's comments bolster an inherent upside skew in both assets.
Well, yeah. So gold recently eclipsed $2,000 per ounce for the first time. If you don't adjust for inflation, that was the first time it's reached that level, and that was just a couple of months ago. To say it's slumped is, I think, to ignore the long term, right? Every day to day, the prices go up, the prices go down. But long term, the price of gold has done a pretty good job of keeping people's wealth safe from the ravages of inflation. Now, in theory, Bitcoin should operate similarly. But we don't really have enough history with Bitcoin to know for sure if that will hold true. But it's likely to hold true because Bitcoin has a finite supply. And
I think it's highly unlikely to hold true with Bitcoin itself. Crypto will continue, but Bitcoin screwed the pooch.
Let's go sideways here for a minute, and let's go to Bob's call from Chattanooga, Tennessee. He's listening on 102.3. Bob, you're on Free Talk Live.
WGOW.
Hey, I think I was listening to your program the other day, and someone said that they believed in global warming, and I don't know if that person's there or not, but I just wanted to ask them why they believe in it.
Well, we're certainly a lot warmer than we were 20,000 years ago when this whole area was under a mile's worth of ice. It must have been the Flintstones with their feet mobiles caused that global warming.
Was that you that was? Are you claiming to be the person that he's thinking of?
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying. In a long enough time scale, there's global warming. Doesn't mean it's being caused by your car.
Yeah, Bob, let me ask you for a clarifying question. What do you think the definition of global warming is that this person had said they believe in it?
Well, I'm not sure basically what they said. I have this firm belief that half the northern United States was under glaciers at one time, and the guys cooking brontosaurus burgers didn't make enough pollution to melt the ice. I believe it's actually in the sun and the sun cycles.
Yeah, I don't know.
That seems plausible.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I mean, I'd like it to get a little warmer, honestly. It really sucks to lose circulation in my toes.
Yeah.
I don't look good either when I'm Smurf blue. It just doesn't look good.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I find it to be not concerning at all. I don't recall which host said that, and I've been on the show 6 nights out of 7 nights a week for the last few weeks, so I don't recall that. But
maybe I misheard, but that one just set me off, and this is the first time I've had a chance to call you back.
Well, thanks for calling.
Yeah, and I think that most of the hosts on this show, if they did believe in global warming, wouldn't want the government to do anything about it.
Right.
You know?
Not me. Can I ask you a question? Do you think Trump's going to win?
Boy, I don't like to make predictions, but it seems hard to believe that somebody as clueless and unable to put together a sentence like Joe Biden. And now there was a new video that came out today. I don't know. And I don't know if it was a deep fake or if it was real, but just of him just being so obtuse and hard to understand, it was just laughable.
The thing that I'm pretty sure of is that whether Trump wins or whether Biden wins, America loses.
Oh, that's for sure.
That's for sure. There hasn't been a good president around for a long time. The more I look at Kennedy, the more I wish he was running right now.
You know, I was just going to mention Kennedy. They took the last decent president, I think, and they blew his brains out to make sure that nobody made that mistake again.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's possible to have a good president, but
I doubt he was decent.
We could certainly do better.
Question.
Thanks for the call
Decent's
tonight, Bob.
Relative.
Unfortunately, we are out of time for tonight's program.
Damn, that was fast.
It always flies by. We always get to the third hour. I'm like, where did it go? I feel like I've been talking for 20 minutes. Anyway, we're on 7 nights a week, freetalklive.com. If you want to listen to our archives, it goes way, way back. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon